Father, may everything we do begin with your inspiration and continue with your saving help. Let our work always find its origin in you and through you reach completion. Lord, pour out on us the spirit of understanding, truth, and peace. Help us to strive with all our hearts to know what is pleasing to you, and when we know your will, make us determined to do it. God our Father, work is your gift to us, a call to reach new heights by using our talents for the good of all. Guide us as we work, and teach us to live in the spirit that has made us your sons and daughters, in the love that has made us brothers and sisters. Grant this through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Bagong umaga, bumangon at magbigas. Tayong lahat ay patungo sa langit ng pag-unlad. Sabay tayo sa paglakad, sabay ang ating dapat. Habang sa isang piling, ganito ang aking awit. Malabon, mahal nating bayan, tayo ang siyang mga kawal. Walang kaba ang dibdib pagkat ako, ikaw ay kapit-bisig. Malabon ang ating tahanan, dito ay may bayanihan. Isigaw natin sa daigdig, tayo'y isang bayan, isang awit, isang tinig. Malabon, mahal nating bayan, tayo ang siyang mga kawal. Walang kaba ang dibdib pagkat ako, ikaw ay kapit-bisig. Malabon ang ating tahanan, dito ay may bayanihan. Sigaw natin sa daigdig, tayo'y isang bayan, isang awit, isang
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Shyla, and I will be your host this afternoon. So thank you so much for having me. I am very excited for what we have in store sa inyo ngayong hapon. Because as you know, because of COVID-19, mass gatherings is no longer allowed, at least for this season. And that is why the Malabon Business Forum is going digital. So this event is held to give an opportunity for experts, small, micro, and medium enterprises to create a blog and share ideas to improve their businesses, especially during this season. So I want to give a quick hi to everyone who is joining us inside the main hall today. If you guys could just give a wave, turn on your cameras, and say hello to everybody who is watching us this afternoon. Oh, diba? Ang saya. A lot of people are joining us this afternoon. So we really appreciate your presence for joining us this afternoon. We know how busy you guys can sometimes get. So it means a lot. It means much to us that you guys get to join us this after joined by two amazing speakers as well. So ladies and gentlemen, before we go ahead to the rest of the program, let's tune in to this video. First, Digital Malabon Business Forum that is themed The Face of Business in the New Normal. Let's watch.
Over the past few years, Malabon has seen rapid economic growth thanks to the many businesses, from MSMEs to big corporations, that have chosen to invest their time and effort into the city. The first business forum in 2016 was held to thank these businesses and further develop a good relationship between the public and the private sectors. And a strong relationship did develop, with 2017 and 2018 seeing a big jump in the number of new businesses opening and existing ones choosing to continue operations. The business forums on those years focused on the need to provide opportunities for the future generations and their roles in the workforce. 2019 saw even greater economic growth for the city, and the aim of the forum that year was to entice even more businesses to set up base in Malabon, citing its long list of accomplishments as incentive. However, 2020 faced an unprecedented event that shook the world and left everyone trying to find their footing once more. Malabon was no exception, and though the pandemic still continues to devastate the country, the city is committed to taking measures that will guarantee everyone's safety while still giving the economic sector the chance to continue their activities. This year's theme, The Face of Business in the New Normal, aims to equip the business sector with the proper tools and strategies to help them acclimatize to the new normal way of doing things, starting with the digitalization of the 2020 Business Forum. Welcome to Malabon City's first ever eBusiness Forum.
All right, so there you have it. I don't know about you guys, but I am excited. Kayo, excited na ba kayo? If you are, just give a digital thumb. You can click your reactions button. You could just give a thumbs up or perhaps a clap kung excited na kayo for today. Up next, we have someone who, after assuming office in 2012, has steadily guided Malabon into a city known for its culinary and historical wonders. Consistently campaigned for welfare of its citizens through development programs, and continue to foster relationships with the private sector for mutual economic growth, as seen in Malabon being a finalist for the award of the most business-friendly LGU for the past 3 years. Aside from earning a spot as a finalist with special citations, it must be recognized that belonging to that group is an incredible feat, and he did it. It shows that Malabon is competitive and at par with other high-income earner cities, especially if one considers the city's resources, as well as the ongoing struggle to balance the people's health and safety with economic growth. Even as the coronavirus surged and shook the world to its core this year, he worked tirelessly behind the scenes to ensure Malabonians' safety comes first and foremost. He continues to give priority to projects that are sure to, if not completely, help ease the burden of you guys, of the citizens in this time of distress, be it through safety and health programs, education and livelihood activities, or supplemental infrastructure projects for those infected. Let's all give a digital round of applause to our dear Mayor of Malabon City, Honorable Mayor Antolin Oreta III.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the City of Malabon's 5th Business Forum with the face of business in the new normal. Thank you for being here with us this afternoon. Let me acknowledge some people: Congresswoman J. Lacson Noel, Vice Mayor Ninong de la Cruz, Consejal Enzo Oreta, City Councilors, Barangay officials, representatives from different national government agencies in Malabon, city department heads and heads of offices, our partner business organizations, City of Malabon Business Association Incorporated, Malabon Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Rotary Club of Malabon Central, PLDT, Meralco, Ma'am Julie Quiroga of the Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry, our tourism partners and enterprise owners, private schools owners, online sellers, Malabon City Cooperative Sector, and all Malabon business owners and aspiring entrepreneurs. And of course, to our guest speakers this afternoon, Professor Andy Ferreira and Professor Richard Cruz, both experts and educators in the field of entrepreneurship, strategic marketing, and corporate financing. Welcome. I'm sure you Malabonians will be all ears in a little while. Our business forum in the past years were super different from what we're doing today. For starters, the events were held in person. Lahat tayo in one room, chatting with each other, shaking hands. But because of this pandemic, we had to compromise on how we're doing the event this year to reach out to you. COVID-19 affected us big time. It felt like we have to rethink and redo everything. We have to put a balance between health and economy. The employees and the employers are people and the business sector. Dahil sa COVID, ang daming businesses ang napilitan magsara. We recorded 212 businesses that closed as of September this year. Unemployment rate in the National Capital Region increased from 6% in July 2019 to 15.8% in July this year. The majority of the city's businesses belong to the micro, small, medium enterprises, and most of them are struggling to keep their establishments open. The presence of our large enterprises in a forum like this is very vital to keep the learnings and experiences inclusive. But we are nothing if not resilient. In place of small physical stores, mga nagbukas ng online shops, especially food services, transactions are being done online, and even our city hall now goes virtual for meetings and events like this. We have learned to adapt and compromise so fast in our current situation. And even though it's not ideal, we are making the best of it. And for the enterprises that need a little more time to fully transition to the new normal, handa kaming tumulong however we can so that all Malabonian entrepreneurs can thrive in our current conditions. This year, the City of Malabon was again a finalist and got a special citation award, the most business-friendly award for LGUs from the Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Tulad ng sinabi ko during the first business forum in 2016, we want to have a good relationship with the private sector because you contribute so much to the development of the city. Even with the setbacks from this year, magpatuloy ang dynamics natin. Malapit nang matapos ang 2020 and starting early, we want to prepare everyone and help everybody get used to the new normal. We have experts here who can give us some insights, ideas para sa business natin, and I believe that these can be of use of us. Kasi basta't sama-sama, anumang pagsubok, kaya natin. So with that, I'd like to welcome everyone to the City of Malabon's first e-business forum. Magandang hapon po sa lahat.
And so there you have it. Thank you so much, Mayor Lenlen Oreta, for the insightful welcome remarks. Indeed, this is a very difficult situation for all of us, but we love how the city of Malabon is just rolling with the punches and taking it as they go. So before we go ahead to our two speakers, let's just go on a quick break. I promise you this is going to be quick and pain-free, and we will see you later on with our speakers.
Sa lahat ng naririto, may this be a beautiful beginning of a long-lasting partnership.
And we're back. So this afternoon, we prepared two amazing speakers for you guys. We asked them to come over so that they can talk about topics that you as business owners can certainly relate to, can help us get through this season as pain-free, if that is possible, as possible. So our first speaker is an associate professor from the Asian Institute of Management, and he is also the senior advisor for pushcart.ph. He's done consultancy services for the likes of Ayala Land and DMCI, SGV & Co., Wholesome Philippines, and Mega World Corporation, among others. His mentoring focuses on creating value at scale using tools such as business model innovation and design thinking. I know we've been hearing a lot about design thinking these days, and so hopefully we can pick up a thing or two, or a lot, I'm sure, a lot. He is the co-founder of Synapse Business Systems Incorporated. It is a network VAS technology company, and aghamroad.ph, a donation portal designed to raise financial support for school projects of the Philippines Science High School system. Very interesting. He is also currently working with IdeaSpace and the DOST to create Spring.ph, a new product venture incubator of the Philippines Software Industry Association. So to talk about managing finances during the pandemic, let's give a hand to Professor Richard Cruz.
So good afternoon, everybody. And I just want to thank the City Government of Malabon for inviting me to speak to all of you this afternoon. And I just wanted to give a special shout out to Mayor Len Oreta for such a warm welcome, and to our host, Shaila. Thank you for the warm welcome. I have a presentation prepared this afternoon. I was asked to talk about managing financials. But I think I'm going to expand that conversation a little bit. And I just wanted to say that I appreciate everybody's participation this afternoon. I know that I'm talking to a very wide and diverse group of business people, probably the largest companies in Malabon, all the way down to the most passionate sari-sari store owners, etc. So I recognize the diversity in the audience and the differences in your issues. So I'll just try to have a nice, broad conversation about how people are thinking about running their businesses during a time of the pandemic. And hopefully later, if there's anything in my talk this afternoon that might be of interest to you, I would be more than happy to answer your question. So pwede naman ho kayo mag-notes Siguro naman pwede nyo rin hingin yung slides mamaya, pwede ko rin i-share sa inyo. At kung meron kayong mga tanong, I think ihanda nyo po and I would be very happy to answer those questions later. Okay, so it's already October 22 and we've been in pandemic for a lot of months already, almost more than half of a year already. And, you know, the mindset of a lot of business people have changed significantly from maybe the first several months after the pandemic compared to where we are now, okay? And I think, you know, basically this is what we call learning, right? Learning. Managing today is primarily about learning. And learning happens in a more rapid, shorter period of time. So perhaps a lot of the things that we studied about business, even as recent as 2019, may not necessarily be applicable anymore in October of 2020. Okay, business opportunities that we thought were sure things, fantastic, amazing business opportunities as recent as January 2020 may not be anymore as fantastic in October of the same year. Okay. So the rapid change in the marketplace and the rapid change, for example, in the policies and the regulations that govern our lives every day has really caused a big change in the business environment, right? So, you know, a lot of us, so sorry, this is my introductory slide. I'm a professor from the Asian Institute of Management, and I do many things, including financial management. But I realized that to have good financials, you have to be a good understander of the business model and how all the elements of a business model fit together. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about finance and I'm going to talk a little bit more about the business model. Okay, but let me start with something really practical, something that a lot of people ask me. And people ask me, Prof, you know, what does pivot mean? A lot of people are saying we have to pivot in this time of crisis. Ano ho ba talaga ibig sabihin ng pivot? Saan ba nanggaling yung salitang yan? Okay. So, you know, before we try to understand what is pivot, you know, pivot actually is a term that we use among startups. So I think the origin of the term really comes from the methodologies that we use to develop startup companies. And, you know, as these startups are growing, they have three choices actually. Ang tanong lagi, 3 Ps talaga yan. 3 Ps, the 3 Ps of a startup. Okay. Should I pursue the business? Meaning, lahat ng ginagawa ko, it's working and I'm making money from it. Should I perish the business? Meaning, we should stop the business because the business is not working. Or should we pivot the business? Meaning, is there something about the business that needs to be changed? Okay, so those are the 3 Ps. Pursue or persevere, perish or patayin ang negosyo, or the third P is to pivot the business. Okay, so before we answer the question, should I pivot? Okay, maybe we can ask several basic questions about our businesses first. Okay, so these are, I just wanted to start off with a set of questions that you might ask yourself as you sit there listening to us this afternoon. The first is, what is my business? Sino ba talaga yung market ko? Sino yung mga customers ko? And what are the actual products that I'm selling? Okay, so in business, this is like the fundamental relationship, right? The fundamental relationship between your products and your market. Okay, that's why we have this word called product market fit. Bagay ba yung produkto ko dun sa market ko at bagay ba yung market ko dun sa kaya kong produkto na kayang gawin or ibenta. Okay, so the question today basically is, after answering, you know, who is your market and what is your product and understanding that intersection, how is it doing, right? How is it doing? Like, what are the metrics of how is it doing? Okay, so kayo ba ay kasama dun sa makakapagbigay ba ng 13th month pay ngayong taon na to? O kayo ba ay kasama dun sa kailangan mag-apply ng konting maybe tulong para maibigay nyo yung 13-month pay ninyo, di ba? So, you know, your ability to fulfill your obligations, whether to the banks or to your employees or to your lessees, etc., lessors, you know, your ability to pay your obligations today and moving forward is a good indicator of how the business is doing, okay? So masasabi siguro ninyo na kahit na nagpandemya, pero nakakabayad naman kayo ng sweldo on time, nakakabayad kayo ng utang, maaaring hindi naman ganun kalaki yung kita, pero dahil tuloy-tuloy lang yung agos ng pera, yung ikot ng pera, maaaring sabihin nyo na okay naman, surviving. Okay, so there are different levels of how is it doing. Okay, extremely well, and I'm sure also that there are some businesses in the audience today that maybe unlike others, that for them the pandemic naman boosted their business, it made their business a lot better, perhaps expanded their market base, increased their volume, or increased their margins. On the other hand, I'm sure marami ring mga ibang negosyo tulad halimbawa sa mga negosyong naapektuhan ng social distancing, yung mga nagbibigay ng serbisyo. I'm sure sila naman they're not doing maybe as well. Okay, so the basic question is the assumption about the business still true? Ano ho ba yung naging assumption yun nung nagsimula kayo na magnegosyo? So halimbawa, maaaring meron kayong tindahan ng sabaw or karinderya at itinabi nyo dun sa dating tricycle stand or jeepney stand dahil ang assumption nyo about the business is dahil maraming jeepney dyan, maraming tao na pupunta dyan, maraming traffic, maraming foot traffic, at dahil maraming tao ay maraming kakain at maraming magiging interesado doon sa aking karinderya. Okay. So, and you might have invested a lot of money on that particular market assumption. Okay. Because of the jeepney stop, there will be a lot of people and I'm willing to invest X 100,000 pesos and borrow another X 100,000 pesos para maitayo ko ang aking karinderya. Okay. So, maaaring totoo siya noong November 2019. Maaaring totoo siya noong December 2019. Ang tanong ko po ngayon is, in October 2020 and moving forward until 2021 and 2022, are those assumptions still true? Do they still hold? Okay, now if those assumptions, if those relationships, yung cause and effect, di ba? Jeepney stand is the cause. The effect is maraming foot traffic. And pag maraming foot traffic, marami akong cause and effect lang ho yan, di ba? Kung nawala na yung jeepney stop dahil nabago ang palakad ng public transportation at nalipat sa ibang lugar, o kaya may jeepney stop pero wala namang sumasakay, ang tanong is the assumption still true? And I'm sure for every business in any industry, regardless of size or market or industry, we have the underlying business assumptions that we need to understand and clarify and ask ourselves, is it still true? Okay, and what are the indicators? Ano ba yung naging panukat na yung mga assumptions na yun ay still true or not true? So for example, nabasa ko ng isang araw or kahapon na in-announce na ng Metro Manila na ang Metro Manila ay magsasailalim sa GCQ hanggang sa end of December 2020. So ang tanong po ay, yung bang sitwasyon na yan na GCQ pa rin, hindi siya siguro sana aakyat sa MECQ at mukhang hindi rin bababa sa MGCQ, steady lang tayo sa GCQ, are the assumptions about your business still true? Okay? And what are you waiting for? Or for example, ang pinaka-favorite na tanong is, magkaka-vaccine na ba? Okay, magkaka-vaccine. So sabihin natin, nagkaroon ng vaccine. Are the assumptions about your business going to change because of the vaccine? Or the assumptions about your business will not change because of the vaccine? Okay, so we need to understand what are the drivers, what are the influencers, what are the forces that are affecting those assumptions about your business. And I'll just say this, para sa lahat ng mga negosyante na nag-invest ng pera sa isang negosyo na ang business assumption ay hindi na po totoo and does not exist, at some point, we really have to ask ourselves, do we pursue, do we perish, or do we pivot? Okay, so ganyan po yung konteksto ng pagtanong ng tanong na yan. Given the uncertainty moving forward, do we pursue, hihintayin ba natin na itutuloy lang natin yung dating negosyo? Or, tulad ng sinasabi natin yung normal, we will pivot, we will change. Okay? So let's try to understand these three, no? So should we persevere? Should we perish the business? Or should we pivot? Okay. So ang dasal po natin ay para hindi po madagdagan yung mga nawalan ng trabaho at sana po ay madagdagan ng mga bagong trabaho yung mga taga Malabon. Sana ang decision natin ay hindi perish. Di ba? Sana ang decision natin ay tuloy, pero kung hindi talaga kayang ituloy, then the only reasonable answer is perish. Is pivot. Okay, the only reasonable answer is to change course or to pivot. Okay, so ano ba yung mga examples of pivot? Okay, so ang unang example is zoom in or narrow the offers. Narrow down the offering. Okay, so napansin natin na, alam na natin to, no? Na maraming mga restaurant ngayon nag-ooperate, pero dahil limited capacity at limited yung tao, at limited din yung customer, hindi siya profitable na i-carry pa rin yung buong menu. Diba? So, ang nangyayari sa maraming restaurant ngayon, yung menu nila ay nagiging mas limited or mas narrow. Okay? So, I'm sure sa mga mall, sa mga restaurant, yung mga tinamaan talaga, ang isang example ng pivot ay i-narrow natin yung offering doon sa pinaka mabibenta, doon sa pinaka mga essential. Okay? On the other hand, meron mga negosyo na nag-zoom out naman, nag-expand ng offering. So kung nakita natin yung ginawa ni Ramon Ang sa Petron, dati ang Petron ay nagbebenta lamang ng gasolina, tapos meron siyang tindahan ng treats. Ang nangyari, kinonvert nila yung Petron. Ginawa din nilang eventually tindahan ng mga frozen food products, tindahan ng mga gulay. So parang naging mas closer siya sa supermarket para maging mas accessible yung mga ganong klaseng pagkain at produkto sa mga tao. Okay. So zoom in or zoom out, narrow the offering or expand the offering given doon sa mga bagong kondisyon na napapalibot doon sa inyong lugar o sa inyong mga negosyo. Okay? O maaaring change the customer pero the same product. Okay? Change the customer pero pareho pa rin yung produkto. Okay? So ang favorite example ko dito ay bisikleta. Okay? Marami mga bike shop na ang tinda nila ay nagtitinda sila ng mga bike sa mga biking enthusiast. Yung mga mahilig magbisikleta tuwing weekend, sa malalayo, o kaya dun sa bayan. Okay? Pero of course ngayon, I would say, nagkaroon siguro ng konting shortage sa bisikleta earlier in the pandemic. So ngayon, maraming nagbebenta ng bisikleta pero ang segment nila iba. Ang segment nila ngayon ay yung mga kailangan pumasok sa trabaho, yung mga kailangan mag-travel from outside the city to inside the city, etc. So ang nangyari, iniba lang nila yung kung kanino nila binenta yung produkto, pero pareho pa rin yung produkto. Okay? So we have to think about our product and ask ourselves, can I change to the market? Can I change it to a different segment? Okay? And if so, how will I do it? Okay? O kaya, pwede mo naman din sabihin na I'm going to sell to the same segment, pero I'm going to sell them a different kind of product or a new product. Okay, so ito, importante itong klaseng pivot when we say we're trying to leverage relationships, we're trying to leverage existing relationships, and we want to consider selling them or upselling them to a new set of products. Okay, so I think ang example ko dito is, for example, ngayon, pumunta ka sa Grab, yung dati mong Grab na ginagamit, di ba? Ginagamit mo yung Grab ang kuha ng taxi. Ngayon, they're selling to the same customer but they're not selling anymore the taxi service. No? They're selling food, they're selling grocery. And I understand Grab is going to be adding more product lines on top of Grab. Okay? So same people, same segment, pero bagong produkto. Okay. Of course, another way of pivoting is new ways of selling. Okay, so yung mga mahilig mag-sales dyan, alam nyo naman na ngayon dahil sa social distancing, bawal na ang face-to-face selling. So we saw this massive movement towards digital online selling, whether it's on Zoom or social media or e-commerce, etc. Okay, so sa tingin ko, ang pinakamadalas na pivot ay itong bagong pamamaraan ng pagbebenta. Pero ito naman ang sasabihin ko sa inyo. Ang pinakamalaking benefit nung pag-move sa online is that yung market access nyo ay malamang lalawak siya kaysa sa liliit. Once na maging online na kayo, ay maaaring ako na nakaupo ngayon dito sa kabilang bayan ng Quezon City, ay maaaring makita ko na yung mga masasarap na pwedeng kainin doon sa loob ng Malabon. Okay? So new ways of selling and of course, new ways of servicing as well. Okay? So what are the different ways of servicing? Okay. So, yung pivot na yan, that was something that people were concerned about in the early months. Okay. Ngayon na October na, ang tanong natin is, Paano, Prof? Sa tingin mo ba may sense pa, may use pa ba na mag-planning tayo for 2021 and 2022? Or ano na lang, wait and see? Okay? So ako, lagi kong sinasabi sa mga tao na in October 2020, mahalaga na magkaroon tayo ng roadmap para maintindihan natin kung paano tayo makakarating doon sa gusto nating marating, let's say at the end of 2021 or at the end of 2022. Okay. So where are we now? What have we learned after about 8 months of being in this pandemic and several months of quarantine? What have we learned? Okay. And what is the objective that we want to have at the end of 2021 or 2022? Okay? Financially, revenue-wise, ano bang revenue target ang gusto nyo ma-achieve, etc., etc. Now, let me just say this about revenue. Okay? And about the market. Maaari pong nagkaroon ng pandemic sa mundo or sa Pilipinas or sa Malabon. Pero ang katotohanan po, the people are still there. Nandyan pa rin ho yung mga tao. Diba? Na iba lang ang kanilang behavior. Okay? So kung iisipin natin yung market size, the market size is actually more or less the same if you base it on the number of people. Because the people are more or less the same. It's just that what they can do and what they want to do and what they need to do has changed. So the behavior and the needs have changed, and therefore the products, the brands, the solutions they want will also change. Okay, but the market is still there. Okay, so the world might be different. The world as we know it might be different, but the people living in that world are still there. Okay, so ang problema, pag umina ang negosyo nyo, ang problema ay hindi dahil nawala ang market. Kasi nandyan pa yung market eh. Pag nawala ang negosyo nyo, ang problema ay hindi kayo naka-align ng mabilis doon sa bagong pangailangan at hindi nyo naisip kung paano kayo gagawa ng business model para kumita kayo ng pera dahil nandyan pa rin ang mga tao. Okay, of course, alam ko sasabihin ng ibang tao, pero sir, ang dami yung nawalan ng trabaho. Ganon. Totoo, hindi magiging kasing bilis yung paglaki ng ating ekonomiya ngayon 21 or 22. But on the other hand, there are many people who are thriving now, okay, which is a good thing. Thank God that there are a lot of people who are thriving. And ideally, we want to align our businesses with the parts of the economy that are thriving. Okay, so, you know, we really need a roadmap and we really need to spend more time figuring out how do I get there, okay? So let me just say, in my 20 plus years experience teaching, by the way, the gentleman who will speak after me is way more experienced than I am. Okay, so siya naging teacher ko, ako naging estudyante niya. No? But in my own modest 20 plus years of teaching, I can say that perhaps there has not been an easier time or a better time or a more exciting time to be an entrepreneur than in October 2020. Talagang dito mo makikita kung sino talaga yung mga magagaling, at makikita mo talaga kung sino yung mga bold na entrepreneur ngayon 2020. Okay? Because the opportunities are there, and I'm sure Professor Federico will speak more about the opportunities. But I'm trying to encourage everybody and motivate them to invest some time and effort to develop plans for your business as to how to pivot to address the market for 2021 and 2022. So my answer is yes, clearly, you should make a plan. Okay, wag niyong ibahala na lang sa kung ano mangyayari at saka niyo na lang iisipin o magre-react. Huwag kayo maging reactive. Okay, take the lead and show your vision and show your proactiveness. Okay, now the reality also though is that hindi ang pagpaplano, hindi siya isang simpleng bagay lamang, di ba? Hindi ka gagawa ng plano ng October at hindi siya magbabago in 2021. Kasi ang katotohanan is ang katotohanan is talagang maraming mga bagay na kailangan mailagay doon sa loob ng plano. Okay, halimbawa, ano-ano ang mga resources or capabilities ang kailangan natin para magnegosyo? Okay, so obviously, ang pinakamahalagang capability ngayon na kailangan mag-invest tayo ng pera, for example, for most businesses, is yung pagiging digital nila. Everybody needs to invest money so that their business can become digitized. Okay. Investment po ito. So kailangan maghanap tayo ng pamamaraan. How can we invest money so that we can build a presence online para ma-achieve natin yung ating goal? Okay. And what are the outcomes or impacts that we want to accomplish? And where do we want to go? Okay. So I know napakaraming entrepreneur na ang kanilang hangarin ay hindi naman talaga para maging sobrang yaman. Marami akong kilalang mga entrepreneur na iba-iba ang kanilang hangarin kasama ng at katulad ng paggawa ng trabaho para sa ibang tao. Okay? So I know that there are a lot of entrepreneurs there whose main priority is job creation and job preservation. Okay? So baka pwede rin natin sukatin yung plano natin in relation to ilang trabaho ba ang kaya kong ibigay sa mga tao dahil dun sa ating plano, okay, para sa ating mga negosyo. Okay. So let's expand the measurements or the metrics. Okay. So again, how do we get there? Now, iniba ko lang ito, di ba? Because in real life, the roadmap is not really a one-lane road moving to the future. It's really a complicated series of intersections and roads. Puro kanan, puro kaliwa, puro ikot, di ba? It's very, very, very complicated. Di ba? There are so many choices. There are so many suppliers. There are so many customers. Once you will realize the complexity of the decisions that you can make in order to grow your business. Okay. So, wag tayo maging takot. 'Di ba? Kumbaga minsan, 'di ba, pag nasa bagong lugar ka, natatakot ka na maglakad sa kalsada kasi baka maligaw ka. Okay. So siguro, again, as I was saying, our mindset really has to be about one of learning and experimentation. Okay. Just because never po kayo nagkaroon ng Facebook page sa inyong negosyo doesn't mean that in 2021, hindi kayo pwedeng magkaroon ng magandang Facebook page. Pag pinag-aralan niyo po talaga kung ano ba yung mga sikreto para magkaroon ng magandang Facebook page na nagbibigay ng maraming customer para sa inyong mga negosyo. Okay. Okay. So, let me say na meron talagang diferensya dun sa maaari nating mata ngayon. So what you think you will end up in the future to be like. And I think where you will actually end up in the future. We have met so many people who really did not expect success. Okay? And this is what we call this surprise factor, this exponential surprise factor. Okay? But what really happens is because dahil sumubok sila, nag-trial sila, nakipag-networking sila, nag-inquire sila, nag-demo sila, nag-trial sila, nag-promo sila or something. They did some kind of activity that a new opportunity was open to them and their business actually took off from there. Okay? So, I have this thing about, creating what we call this virtuous cycle. Para sa akin, ang negosyo, ganito lang sana. Okay? So, saan ba tayo pwede magsimula? Siguro, dito tayo magsimula sa kanan. Ang negosyo ganito, di ba? Hangarin natin magkaroon ng mas relevant at mas accessible na products at mas relevant at accessible na channels tulad ng online channel. And dahil mas relevant yung product and service natin, ang mga customer natin magiging mas motivated and willing to buy. And if they're more motivated and willing to buy, they will buy more types of our product and they'll be more engaged with our products and hopefully they'll give us referrals and more comments, which means more revenues and profits for our business. And then kung ano ba nakikitain natin sa negosyo natin, i-reinvest po natin sa mga resources tulad ng technology, tulad ng tao, or other assets. And the more we reinvest in the business, then mas gaganda yung kapasidad natin, yung kapabilidad natin, yung kaalaman natin, which will lend us or lead us to creating again more relevant and more accessible products and channels. And then tuloy-tuloy na po ito. Ito po ay isang causal loop, isang circle na magtutuloy-tuloy na paangatin ang buhay ninyo at ang inyong negosyo. Okay. Bakit hindi lumalaki ang negosyo? Kasi, for example, nag-invest sa pera, sa technology, or sa capital, nag-hire sila ng tao, pero wala silang kakayahan na i-convert yung investment nila sa magandang produkto. Okay, or they don't have the capability to sell through a good channel. Okay, so the entrepreneur must ensure that for your brand or for your business that you're able to create this kind of flow and this kind of cycle para lumaki ang inyong negosyo. And the surprise factor happens na when more and more people are happy with your business and more people comment about it online at nag-refer sila and nag-post sila ng magagandang mga comments tungkol sa negosyo nyo, magugulat na lang kayo na napakabilis po ng posibilidad sa paglaki ng revenue. And I just hope that when that happens, you make sure that you reinvest that in the business, in more and better assets so that you can have more and better products. So this is what I call the virtuous cycle. And pwede mo rin sabihin na vicious cycle to pag yung kabaliktaran, di ba? Na pag pangit ang products nyo, pangit ang channel in 2020, nobody will be motivated to buy, nobody will engage, nobody will comment, babagsak ngayon yung revenues and profits nyo, magugutom na ngayon yung mga tao, hindi kayo makaka-upgrade ng mga technologies nyo, etc. And then the business becomes worse and worse and worse until it dies. Okay. So I hope that you can think about this and you can diagnose your company using this cycle. Saan ba ako nagkakaproblema? Saan ba ako okay? Alright. So kadalasan ang minamanage portion ay yung portion na to sa kaliwa at yung sa kanan naman ito yung response ng customer. Okay. So mula dito sa profit, yung pag-invest ng profit at pag-convert to make more products again and more channels, yun po yung minamanage dito sa kaliwa. Okay. So I'm gonna try to be quick because I want to finish before 3. Okay, so the question really is, how can we ensure the future of our company by beginning to experiment with new products and models that may start a new virtuous cycle? Okay, so eksperimento po ang kailangan natin para maintindihan natin kung ano yung gusto pala ng mga tao. Hindi pala natin alam na gusto, pero nung sinubukan natin ibenta, doon lang po natin nalaman na gusto pa nilang bilhin. Okay, so I hope that, for example, the city government and the barangays, etc., can also assist businesses in trying experiments because yan po talaga ang kailangan ng mga negosyo natin ngayon. Yung pagkakataon at yung capability to create all of these new experiments to see how things work. Okay. So to reach the virtuous state, we need to be obsessed with creating solutions for our customers of the future. The passions to drive massive and disruptive value creation at scale is necessary to drive this difficult process. Okay. Meron lang po akong gustong pag-usapan tungkol sa planning, lalo na sa financial planning. Okay. Kadalasan po, kapag gumagawa tayo ng planning, meron po tayong tinatawag na forecasting. Gagawa po tayo ng forecast for the next 2 years. Okay, so paano po ginagawa yung forecast? So halimbawa, sinusukat natin yung current financial statement natin, yung revenue and profit, tapos tatanungin natin, given a certain growth, mag-assume tayo, next year, ganito yung magiging kita natin or next month, tapos yung sa susunod na period, ito magiging kita natin. Okay, tapos at the end of the period, ito magiging kita natin. Okay, so ang tawag ko dito ay forecasting. Di ba? Mula sa current, tinitingnan natin kung ano yung magiging probable na future. Okay, so ito po yung forecasting. Yan, ang nakasalalay po ang forecasting sa assumption. Okay, so mga negosyante, yung mga hindi masyadong, halimbawa, yung hindi masyadong nagre-research tungkol sa growth ng mga negosyo, siguro gumagawa lang sila ng assumption na parang, okay yan, kahit mag-grow lang yan ng mga 10 to 15% a year sa revenue, masaya na ako. O kaya mga 20% growth a year, masaya na ako. Okay, so meron mga assumptions yan, di ba? Moving forward. Ang tanong, okay, so ang tanong is, masaya ba kayo doon sa forecast na yon? Pag umabot sa forecast level 3 yung forecast, is this future position desirable? Okay, is this desirable? Okay, so dito ko sinasabi yung pagkakaiba ng parang entrepreneur who only takes or accepts what is given to him or her versus an entrepreneur who takes what they feel is like what they deserve or what they want to take, which is desirable for them. Okay? That's why, ang nangyayari is, by the way, ito rin forecast na to, ito rin yung nagiging basihan ng mga plano, ng mga strategy. Okay? So, based on sa forecast, sasabihin natin, para ma-achieve to, ito yung mga strategies na gagawin natin. Okay. So, ngayon, ang punto is, siguro pwede nating ibahin yung approach natin sa pag-strategize or sa pag-forecast. Instead na mag-forecast tayo na parang left to right, gumawa tayo ng tinatawag nating backcasting. So, sa backcasting naman, ang simula is something, so ito yung forecasting kanina, no? From left to right, for forecast ako into the future. Ibahin kaya natin yung pananaw natin. Di ba? Lakihan natin yung posibilidad. Okay? So instead na left to right ang thinking natin, gumawa tayo ng thinking na, is there something that is more desirable, okay, or a necessary state to survive and thrive in the long term? Okay? So, maaaring magkaroon kayo ng objective. Gusto ko yung number 1 taxpayer ng Malabon in 3 years. Okay. What will it take to become the largest business person or largest taxpayer in Malabon? Okay. So ang approach is what we call backcasting. I-define nyo muna kung future state nyo. Okay. So isipin nyo na parang, rather than forecasting, I have 1 million revenue and I will grow at 20% per year. So after 4 years, ganito yung magiging size ng revenue ko. Ibahin nyo. I have 1 million revenue now. In 3 years or 2 years or 5 years, gusto ko 10 times siya. Okay, I want it to be 10 times. Bakit 10 times? Wala. I think if I still want to continue to be in business in 3 to 5 years, kailangan 10 million na yung revenue ko. Kung hindi, siguro magtatrabaho na lang ako somewhere. Okay, kung itutuloy ko itong pagiging negosyante ko, kailangan ganito yung size ng business ko in the future. Okay. So we determine the end future not because of forecasting, but we determine the end, let's say, revenue goal because it's the right thing to do. Okay? And then once we determine that desired future state, saka tayo mag-figure out ng plano, pabalik ngayon sa present kung paano natin gagawin yan. Okay? So for me, this is kind of like the mindset of trying to grow and thrive. Okay, so hindi lang ito bounce back. So I think you've heard this before already, right? Bounce back works. Okay. No, that's not what we want. What we want is bounce back better. Okay. So we need bigger thinking, di ba? And the present does not determine the future. Okay, so isipin natin yan, ha? The present does not determine the future. Ang thinking na to, backcasting, is pabaliktad. How I see the future determines the present. Okay, so if I want to grow 10 times, if I want to be 10 times bigger in 2 years, my vision of being 10 times bigger in 2 years will determine how I must behave and strategize today. Okay, so ibahin natin yan, no? Kadalasan yung mga accountants, yung mga finance people, forecasting ang iniisip nila kasi yung assumption ang ginagamit nila eh. Ang mga entrepreneur, hindi sana ganon. Sana ang entrepreneur, you start with the end in mind and you allow the future to determine the present. Okay. All right. So if I have the right objective and I have the right strategy and the right people and the right assets and I make the right decisions, then I can have that virtuous cycle. Okay. So I think I'm going to stop here and I'm going to hand it back to the host because my time is up and I don't want to delay the rest of the program. I did have a few more slides, but I'll let it go. I hope my talk just sort of generated some kind of thoughts and questions in your mind, and I would be very happy to take some of your questions later. Okay, and if there's a future event, even if it's a smaller event with a more intimate group of business people, I would be more than happy to help Mayor Len in his efforts to grow the businesses in the city of Malabon. So on that note, thank you very much for your time, and I want to hand it back to the host.
Thank you so much, Professor Richard Cruz. Hindi ko alam yung iba sa inyo, no? Pero ako pa lang, just listening here backstage, yes, I do have the privilege of hearing Professor Cruz here backstage talking. Ang dami ko nang natutunan sa kanya, no? Some of the things that I learned was be proactive. I love the backcasting. I mean, what a way to figure out how your business is gonna move forward, no? Na tumingin tayo sa future and kung ano yung gusto mangyari sa future sa businesses natin, let's allow that to determine our action steps for today. So, ang dami pa. So, hopefully, you guys are able to take notes. Kung hindi, ang maganda our digital forum is you can actually click replay. Diba? And you can play this over and over again para mas ma-sync sa ating lahat kung ano yung mga narinig natin this afternoon kay Professor Richard Cruz. So, thank you very much he will be back with us later on. So I would really like to invite our audience na that if you have questions, please type them if you're watching us through Facebook, through YouTube, through the platform that we're using. You can either just type your questions in the chat box or type it on the comment section below, and we will collate them later on and we will get to ask them to our speaker later on. So watch out for that. In the meantime, let's have our next guest speak. He is the author of the internationally published book, Entrepreneur Helpline, that was published in 2004. And he is also the current president and core faculty member and director of the Asian Center for Entrepreneurship and Management Education. Narinig nyo kanina, si Professor Richard Cruz was once his student as well. He has coached and mentored over 300 entrepreneurs to become the best that they can be, alongside helping them bring their enterprises to that next level of performance. He has industry experience in many fields. There's retail, food, construction, banking and financing, and telecommunications, and has often been invited to speak on enterprising families, entrepreneurship, and design learning methodologies for entrepreneurs. We're very lucky to have him. Currently, he holds positions in the board of directors for Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company, Guevara Industrial Development Corporation, and Esquire Finance, apart from many others. So give him that round of applause. If you can please click the reaction button, give a clap, say hello, put a heart over there. Let's welcome Professor Alejandrino Andy Ferreria.
Magandang hapon po sa kanila lahat. Ako po walang PowerPoint, but I intend to share things with you itong hapon na ito. Yung mga matatanda na kamukha ko, baka inabot yung TV show ko noon sa Channel 13. Ang tawag po noon, Entrepinoy. Ako po yung original na Entrepinoy. Pero ngayon po, entrepreneur pa rin ako, pero naging entrep guru na rin, nagtuturo na rin ako ngayon. I've been teaching on how people can make their enterprise the best it can be. But let me put therefore in perspective. Sino ang pinaka-importante? Ano pinaka-importante sa isang negosyo? Ang sagot ko po ron ay yung entrepreneur. Yung taong na may-ari ng negosyo, na nagpapatakbo ng negosyo. Okay? But sometimes, it's not necessarily na yung classic entrepreneur. Meron din po tinatawag tayong mga corporate entrepreneur. Hindi po sila may-ari, pero yung pag-iisip nila para pong isang entrepreneur na rin. Or siyang may-ari. Alam nyo, sa Chinese, sa Hokkien, may kasabihan. The word for crisis in Chinese, the Hokkien, is called Wei Ji. If you have the two characters of Wei Ji, Wei and Ji, I look at the right to left than left to right. Because the G is opportunity. Okay? The Wei isn't saying an opportunity. All right? So, or a chance. That's why, every time there's a crisis, it's always an opportunity for me as an entrepreneur. And it's a very, very important trait that one must have. So having said that, let me go to the next point. He's just saying, alam niyo po, meron akong good news at meron akong bad news. Okay. Now, ang bad news po, ay mukhang ito nangyayari sa atin ngayon, nag-umpisa nung March, about mid-March, some even earlier than that. hindi po yan mawawala hanggang siguro 2021. Baka 2022 pa. Baka mangyari yan. Yun yung bad news. But let me share with you the good news. I will share with you what I have been doing as an entrepreneur. All right? For the past almost 8 months, binibiro ko nga yung mga tao ko eh. Sabi ko, alam nyo, nung 6 months na, sabi ko, pasado na tayo. Sir, bakit? 6 months na eh. Pwede tayong permanent. Ibig sabihin, permanent itong crisis na ito. Hindi na temporary. Parang employment eh. Anyway, so, let me share with you what I have done in terms of the businesses. And there are things that are foundational. Tama sinabi ni Richard. Okay? The purpose of entrepreneurship, or my own purpose of being an entrepreneur, is to be able to create jobs for people who cannot be entrepreneurs. Kasi po hindi lahat ng tao pwedeng maging isang entrepreneur. So, having said that, let me tell you what I have done to the enterprises, and I can divide them into 3. Okay? Yung una, I have businesses that improved. Okay? Not in spite of, but because of. Ibig sabihin, umunlad yung negosyo. Ito po yung isang company where I'm a director, which is in pharmaceutical. Yung budget ho namin as of June, actual performance, yung actual June is already achieving the financial performance of the whole year of 2020. Diba nakakamangha naman yun eh. Pero kung tatanong nyo sa akin bakit ganun po nangyari? Kasi tumaso ang benta namin ng vitamin C. Very simple. Because of COVID, vitamin C demand has increased. Nakakatawa nga eh. Yung February of this year, pinapagalitan ko sila. Kasi may nakamali isang tao ko. Ano pagkakamali niya? Nakalimutan niya na may na-order na pala ng raw materials for vitamin C. Umorder siya uli. So yung order namin nagkadoble-doble. So pinapagalitan ko siya. Pero ngayon nangyari itong COVID, sabi ko, swerte mo, nag-order tayo ng doble. Kasi nga, because of that, we were able to perform well. So there are certain firms, okay, na because of COVID, has done very well. Okay? And that's good for the entrepreneur. Okay? Now, yung ibang negosyo na hawak ko rin, okay, I had to, well, ang tawag ni Richard was to pivot. Ang tawag ko po dyan ay repurpose. Okay? Yung repurposing na yan, ibig sabihin, binago ko yung aming ginagawa with a different purpose already. Okay? And ang consequence niyan, ang hirap niyan sa isang entrepreneur, tulad ko at tulad natin, pabago-bago nangyayari. Things change in the environment. Bago yung announce, ibang EQ na naman, di ba? So, nagbabago. This is one of my nationwide operating companies. And iba-iba pa yung EQ in each area. Iba yung sa Bohol, iba yung sa Bacolod, iba yung sa Cagayan de Oro, iba yung Davao, iba sa Zamboanga, iba yung Cebu, dito sa Luzon, naiiba yung Northern Luzon, sa Nueva Ecija, na iba, sa Bicol, na iba. So, ang consequence yan, bilang isang entrepreneur who is the center of the business, nagmi-meeting ko kami twice a week by Zoom. Kasi ina-assess namin lagi, ano ba ang ano natin? So ito ginagawa natin. Babaguhin ba natin o hindi? Nagbabago yung plano namin ng execution sometimes week to week. Kasi nga, nagbabago. Pero ang tawag ko dyan, sa sakripisyong ginagawa ng entrepreneur dyan, yan yung tinatawag kong TDK strategy. TDK, tutok, dikit, at kulit. Nakatutok ka, okay? Pinapakinggan mo lagi ano nangyayari. Nakadikit ka sa organization at kinukulit mo kung ginagawa yung ating pinag-usapan. So, yan po yung isang ginagawa rin ng isang entrepreneur. Kung hindi alad na umulad yung negosyo dahil doon sa COVID. Yung pangatlo, at ito ginawa ko rin sa isang negosyo ko lang naman, nagsakripisyo. Remember, even Richard was saying, remember, our purpose as an entrepreneur is to create jobs, is to make people to be able to have jobs. And ako, ang ginawa ko sa kumpanya yun, tinigil ko ang sweldo ko. Yung ibang mga partner ko na active sa negosyo, tinigil din namin ang sweldo. Yung iba, binawasan namin ang bayad. Para yung mga rank and file, tuloy ang sweldo nila kahit during the COVID period. Nagsakripisyo kami kasi wala kaming pwedeng gawing strategy na mabago yung sitwasyon. Wala kaming pwedeng gawing babagay doon sa sitwasyon na nangyayari. Kaya, sakripisyo. Okay? So, yun yung pangatlo na aming ginagawa na an entrepreneur can do. Ulitin ko, isa-summarize ko ulit. Unang-una, kung ang negosyo mo ay pinalad dahil sa COVID, gumantay lalo yung negosyo, meron ganyan eh. Yung pangalawa naman is keep on repurposing. Review what's happening and keep on repurposing. Bigyan kita isang example. Kasi hanggang ngayon, yung mga estudyante ko ng entrepreneurship dun sa Ateneo Rockwell Graduate School where we're running Masters in Entrepreneurship. Yung graduate, tumatawag pa sa akin. Sir, ano gagawin ko? Ito aking sitwasyon. Meron siyang restaurant. O sinasabi niya, paano yun? Hindi kami pwede magbenta. Tapos sinasabi, yung nagpa-deliver, ang laki naman ng taga na kinukuha sa amin ng mga delivery. To some extent na, medyo, hindi ko nasabihin kung sino, una sila hanggang 20 to 25% ng benta. Ibig dapat bayaran lang yung transport cost. So sabi ko sa kanya, ganito lang gawin natin. Okay? Una-una, yung mga tao mo, okay, imbis na mawala sila ng trabaho, yung mga busboy, yung mga waiter, yung mga nasa frontline mo, kausapin mo. Tanong mo kung sino nagmumotorsiklo, sino may bisikleta. Mag-umpisa na kayo ng delivery na yung mga tao mo na nagdi-deliver. So nag-pivot siyang ganun. Maayos na mangyayari yun sa negosyo niya. Na meron na siyang masuki na nagdi-deliver ho siya doon. So it's a solution that is taken in terms of repurposing. Yung isa pang repurpose example ko dyan, meron akong isang graduate rin nasa metalworking. At tanong sa akin, sir, ano gagawin ko? Wala akong, di ba, itong metalworking products ko. Hindi mag-isip tayo yung produkto na pwedeng relevant ngayon na pwede natin gawin. You won't believe this. Nasa computer kami, nag-design kami ng produkto na pwede niyang gamitin. Itong produktong to out of metal. Nakakatawa, ikakabit mo doon sa base noong pintuan ng CR. So, pagkatapos mo gumamit, imbis na hawakan mo pa yung knob, apakan mo ito, hilahin mo para makalabas ka. Para yung kamay mo, hindi nakahawak sa knob. So, gumawa siya ng gano'n. Payawa ng Diyos, malakas ang benta. Kasi marami ngayong bumibili at ginagamit to nila yon. So, marami pong ibang example pa dyan sa repurposing where you are able to find out na ano pa pwede kong gawin so that we will be able to continue and have our people continue to have employment. Yun yung importante. But, ulitin ko yung pangatlo. Huwag po natin, kung kailangan po natin magsakripisyo, hindi po maubusan ng kapital yung negosyo para yung mga tao natin, especially the rank and file, can continue, correct? Continue to be, in a sense, employed. Gawin po natin. So, ang dulo ko niyan ganito Ano po pinaka-importanting bagay dito sa sitwasyon natin ngayon? Yung entrepreneur po. The entrepreneur must be able to see what is the opportunity in this crisis. You'll be surprised. There are more opportunities available today. Okay? Because the bigger the crisis, the larger the opportunity. So, yun yung aking advice sa mga taong nagiging entrepreneur. So with that, may silang po yung aking mga payo. I'd rather spend time together with Richard na magtanong kayong diretso para masagot namin yung concern nyo actual. So can I turn it back to whoever will manage the Q&A?
Ayan. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Andy Ferreria. So, I will invite, of course, Professor. Ayan, nawala yung light ko. No? Ayan, there you go. We'd like the Professor Richard Cruz to join us as well this afternoon. I know you're still here, Professor Richard. And of course, sa ating mga viewers, thank you so much for your comments and your questions. We have them listed down. Some of them are being answered by our moderators live. So alam nyo talagang that this is happening live. But of course, for some of your questions, hindi pa nasasagot ng moderators, we can go ahead and ask Mr. Andy Ferreria and Mr. Richard Cruz these questions as well. So let me go ahead and ask the first. What do you think is the most important component of a business? Sir Andy, I'd like to ask you first and then we can go to Sir Richard Cruz.
Sa akin, simple. Yung entrepreneur, yung taong nagpupursigi, nangangapital, okay? Isang aspeto ng ano bang importante sa negosyo. Sa akin, yung tao. Hawak ko naman dyan, simple. Meron akong importanteng keyword sa mga entrepreneur. Po dyan ay bisyo, vision, ambisyon. Tignan mo yung bisyo mo. Tapos pwede ba tayong gumawa ng bisyo na pagkakitaan yung ating bisyo? Kasi sa entrepreneur po, yung kanyang negosyo ay laro. Ako, ang lagi sabi ko, nagninegosyo ka ba? Hindi, naglalaro lang ako. And yung pagkita ng pera, yan ang natural consequence. Para magkaroon tayo ng ambisyon. Kaya bisyo, vision, ambisyon. Pinaka-importante, yung entrepreneur.
Ayan. Thank you so much, Mr. Andy Ferreria. Sir Richard Cruz?
Yeah, so ako naman, I'll just try to add to Andy's answer. I think another important part of a business really is your ability to understand the customer problem and then your ability to frame a solution for it, regardless of what it is. I think right now we have a lot of new problems that are emerging because of the pandemic. And we have to be clear that a lot of the old problems that a lot of businesses try to solve, wala na siya eh. So we really need, kung magaling nga yung vision ng entrepreneur, as Professor Andy was saying, then that really needs to be translated into a solution that makes sense and is affordable and is accessible to a customer. So I'll just say, from my own perspective, business happens because they have customers who are engaged and are loyal to their product.
Okay. Thank you so much. I hope you guys are picking up on these amazing advices, no? Kahit ako, to be honest, I'm taking down notes with my computer as well. So next question, ano naman yung advice nyo for businesses that are trying to restart their operations? Kasi syempre, we were closed from March and then slowly opening up, diba? What's your first advice to them?
Richard, you first or me first?
Sige sir, go ahead, please.
Okay. Yung mag-restart, okay, sundin natin sinabi si Richard kanina. Tingnan mo ba, sino ba bagong customer mo? Tapos, therefore, ano yung kailangan na pwede kong gawin pag-restart ko ng negosyo? Okay? But starting with the customer is first. Pero ako, ibabalik ko ulit. Passion nyo ba yung gagawin nyo? Kasi pag hindi nyo passion yung gagawin, kahit ano gusto ng customer, wala tayong mangyayari dyan. Makakapansit-pansit lang tayo dyan. Kasi nga, yung negosyo nag-umpisa yan, kasi sa passion. That's what I always say. Richard?
Yeah, okay. Ako naman, let me take a parang investment point of view dito sa question to. So I have a business. It had to stop because of the pandemic and the regulations that say attached to the quarantine. I had to maybe let go of people. Maybe I had to let go of some assets. But let's just assume that I have some assets. No? And the question is, I want to restart. So I guess, as I was saying earlier in my presentation, of course, the first option is pursue, diba? Or persevere. You just take the model that you had before the closure and you just restart the same model. And, the question is that still relevant? Or, of course, since the question is restart, hindi na to perish, hindi na usapang perish to. So usapang pivot na to, di ba? So let me just assume that you have several choices. So alam ko maraming mga restaurant owners, ang problem nila is since yung dine-in naging limited, we built a capability for delivery and take-out. But now that the quarantine is easing up again, pwede na ulit ako magbukas ulit ng konting capacity para mag-dine-in. So baka ang tanong nyo ay, kung magre-restart ako, mag-dine-in ba or take-out, di ba? So mga options na kayo, di ba? Okay, sa mga eskwelahan, ganun din yung tanong, di ba? Yung restart, yung face-to-face or online. So I'm sure lahat ng negosyo, for example, yung mga spa, mga personal services, barbershop, salon, di ba? I'm sure marami silang mga tanong na either I can alternative A or alternative B. So ang recommendation ko lang talaga ay, we need to do some kind of cost-benefit analysis. Okay, we have to do the pros and cons of each option and make an intelligent choice, because what really matters is that you don't waste money by pursuing an opportunity na para may risk na hindi nyo pala kayang i-carry yung risk na yun. So if you're gonna reopen and you're gonna take a risk, please make sure that it's a calculated risk. Be aware of risk and be aware also of what you might lose.
Okay, thanks for that. I feel very grateful and lucky that our audience has these advices that can really be applied sa businesses nila panahon. And I think what I like about this COVID, the silver lining is there's so many of you guys who are so experienced at what you do, sharing what you know with smaller businesses as well. Kasi kailangan talaga nila yung mga katulad nyo sa panahon ngayon. So what do you think about those that shift to the online based operations? Do you think that as community quarantine eases and slowly back to normal, yung mga nagsimula na sa online businesses nila, do you think they should continue or to stop it as soon as we're back to normal?
Akin simple, the online business will continue. Matter of fact, what has happened because of COVID, napuwersa lahat mag-online because of the situation. And those who are online right now, will continue. Just to give you a situation, meron akong isang negosyo because of online. Yung aming face-to-face channel, alright, bumaba by 20%. Pero yung online namin, nag-times 300, hindi times 3, times 300. So, normalize lang yan. I expect the times 3 maybe to stay at that and yung old channel to what it used to be, maybe at 80% level na lang. But actually, the business has grown fantastically because of the online distribution. So, nandiyan yan, online is here to stay. And you may now have to manage two channels.
I like that. Sir Richard, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think we're not gonna go back to the old ways of doing things. I think nobody wants to go back to the madness of being stuck on EDSA for several hours just to do something, get some activity done. I don't think a lot of workers want to go through the same madness again. I can imagine the people from Malabon have a unique experience and pain in relation to accessing the different, economic centers of our metropolis.
Yes.
So I think one of the big impact, especially to Malabon, is that if you did have a relative location disadvantage before, I think today that's less and less an issue, because if you can learn how to promote and deliver it from Malabon, the customer will not, the buying kakanin from Malabon and buying kakanin from Las Piñas has the same customer experience from Quezon City.
Yeah.
Okay, can I just share my slide really quick? I have something very relevant. I was sitting here, and you know what happened?
What?
I was sitting here, and I received this package. Somebody walked into my room, and I received this package.
Ooh, okay.
Okay, so this is the package from Mayor Len. And this is the kakanin, I hope from Malabon.
Yes, of course. course, I would think so as well.
Yes, so I am very grateful, and I am, kind of speechless. This is the first time it's happened to me where I'm speaking, and while I'm speaking, the token is literally physically arriving next to me.
Oh, wow.
So what I'm saying is, I think the people and the business people from Malabon need to understand how digital is a leveling force, and it really will open up more opportunities than it will for. I mean, instead na lang kayo ng oportunidad, yung digital is actually going to open up more opportunities for business people from Malabon. That's it. I hope you embrace it.
Yes. Totoo.
Dagdagan ko lang, merong tumatok sa aming pinto. But actually, when that was mentioned to me that something is coming, I think yesterday, sabi ko ba okay to Kasi you won't believe this. I've been having meetings through Zoom here in my house. And we have had food delivery in the board meeting, that everybody was getting their lunch or their dinner while we're having the board meeting. So, sabihin, yun ang modality ngayon. Actually, to add to what Richard is saying is that traffic ko ngayon, wala na sa EDSA. Okay? Ang traffic ko ngayon, nasa internet. Kaya minsan nagkakaroon tayo ng mga drop line, calls, interruption, bumabagal, whatever. Kasi nga, dati ang problema ko, how to move from one office to another. Kasi nga, traffic sa kalye. Pero ngayon, wala na akong problem. Kasi from the house, I can go to one Zoom to another. There are times I have 4 Zoom meetings in a day. So, ang nagiging problema ko na lang, minsan, may problema yung internet. Kasi yung traffic po ng internet. Lalo ngayon, wala nga klase, pero ang klase nasa online. So, traffic ko sa internet, may klase. Ibisa sa EDSA.
Totoo yan. And of course, hopefully, that is a to our service providers, diba? That the whole country is really relying on you guys to pursue our businesses and our education as well. So sana, call sa inyo yan na galingan pa natin ang ating serbisyo sa mamamayang.
Pero actually, ang totoo dyan, Richard, nag-uusap kami kanina before we started. I am on an internet provider, but backups. So ibig sabihin, kung magka-aberya yun, meron pa akong dalawa na LTE back na magkaibang brand pa. It's expensive because you have to pay for 3 actually, just to make sure that I do not have a line out during sessions like this.
Yes, and actually that is a great idea. Kasi in fact, tumaas nga yung internet bill natin. Think about it, nabawasan yung gasolina natin. So win-win. Kasi mas mura.
Hindi lang gasolina nabawasan. Kahit driver, wala na ako ngayon.
Oh, see?
Pero siguro if I can just add, especially dun sa angulo ni Prof. Andy, dun sa the entrepreneur is the most important asset of any business. I encourage all entrepreneurs now that you're not spending 4 hours in traffic every day. Spend that time that you saved, maybe 1 hour exercising, 1 hour reading a book or learning something, and then another hour, deepening your relationship with your family. Because ultimately, a lot of these entrepreneurs, the real motivation of family, diba? So, the whole quality angle, I think, is much better served now in this situation. But we just have to adopt the technologies that will allow the business to thrive under these situations.
Yes, I love that insight, Professor Richard, because this is true. In fact, even busy kami doing online events. But because of the pandemic, we realized that, you know what, I'm weekends off. You can't touch my weekends. So I think a lot of us worldwide are realizing this work is important, but we also realize that family, health, safety are just as important as these other things. Again, one of the many great things we are all getting from this pandemic that we first thought was so very negative when it first hit the country and the world. All right, on to our next question. I don't know if you have an answer to this, but somebody is asking, what do you think will be the next trend for MSMEs in the next 5 to 10 years? Professor Ferreira, well, let's go ahead.
SMEs for 5 to 10 years. Oh my gosh.
I know.
Very, very difficult to look at that. But I can tell you certain things that I already am preparing for as an entrepreneur. Okay. things in the next 5 to 10 years, mawalan na po or bababa po ang demand sa mga services ng mga traditional vehicles. Meaning yung garage, papunta po tayo sa electric. So that would be one area. The other one that's going to happen, which I already did the leap, right? As we speak today, I'm already on solar power in terms of my house.
Wow.
So that generating 5,000 kilowatts a day, right? For my use. So that that's the other area. Being able to get sustainable businesses that are longer traditional in a sense, because things are moving solar, things are moving electric, things are getting to be more environment friendly. I think that's where next opportunity of 5 to 10 years will be. Pero ako, siyempre, entrepreneur ako.
Siyempre, kailangan nauuna. You can serve as an example to a lot of our other Filipinos, no? What about Professor Richard Cruz, your fearless forecast for the next 5 to 10 years?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many trends on energy, environment, and the future of work, the future of education. There's so many angles. But let me just take one angle, which is really, I feel like there will be much better access to livelihood opportunities outside of the traditional economic spheres. So in a way, this trend started a long time ago, di ba? Yung term na the world is flat.
Yes.
The world is flat kasi hindi na siya globe, hindi na siya planet na bilog. Kasi in a planet that's round, there's a day and a night time.
Mm-hmm.
Kasi Earth rotates, di ba? But the internet, it made the world flat. There's no day or night on the internet, right? It's always on.
Yeah.
And, our whole BPO industry is based on the concept, right? But I think that actually, all of these jobs will be available, accessible to individual workers, freelancers online. They want to travel down EDSA to get to a business center to have, they'll have, since everybody's also studying and working from home, invest dun sa workspace, saka yung study space sa home. So, a lot of companies will probably not ask employees to come back like in the old times. So all I'm trying to say is, if you thought of Metro Manila centers as Quezon City, Ortigas, Makati, etc., I'm hoping that Malabon can see itself in the next 5 to 10 years as being the center on the northern tip of Metro Manila, facing the Bulacan area, and maybe being a center or a new source of energy, etc. So, parang sa akin, the rest of Metro Manila may not be relevant anymore to places like Malabon, Valenzuela, and Bulacan. And there's already a need for entrepreneurs to lead and build the businesses and the infrastructure there on that side, especially with the expressway. So, yung dating tingin natin sa Malabon na parang napaka-industrial, etc. Baka sana mabago siya para yung mga trabaho ay maging mas high value, mas tech-driven, maybe more service, etc. So that's my forecast. I think that's an opportunity that I see is gonna happen.
All right, thank you so much.
Meron pa akong dagdag sana. May dagdag lang ako. Rin ako eh.
Yes.
Because yung nakikita ko pwede inumpisahan na rin uli ako eh. I've started agripreneurship in terms because I see food security being able to plant. I started planting again provinces with the help of farmers and cooperatives on a social enterprise basis to be able not only plant for food but also create funds for food. Plan at mga kasi yan ang tinitingnan ko retirement ko sa probinsya ko mag-retire para meron tayong because I see agricultural or food security as the future not only in 5 to 10 years but I also see it as the future because we may be afraid to import food from other countries baka may virus.
Totoo.
So that's the other direction.
Yes, this is very true. I mean, even for us here sa bahay namin, I have a very limited to our garden. Pero talagang nagtanim ako ng pechay.
Tama yan.
Yun na talaga.
Organic pa yan. Organic pa.
Alam natin kung ano yung pumupunta doon, no? Ang dami nating questions. I want to say hi to that Professor and Mr. Cruz. I'll just say hi to them really quick kasi madaming
Sure.
sa atin, nanonood sa atin sa page ni Mayor Lana. No? I want to say hi to Elvira San Gabriel, Des Negado, Geminiano, Nida, Gregorio, Norvelin Cuevas. Ang dami pang gustong mag-hello. So I just want to thank you guys for watching. And this is also our way of showing that yes, we are live and yes, we want to get to your questions kasi madami pang nagtatanong. So I want to go ahead and ask this from Norvelin Cuevas from Facebook. So nowadays, students are starting to have their online businesses. Of course, they want to generate income. What do you think are the crucial decisions in order to build a strong business foundation? Professor Richard Cruz, we'll have you first.
Okay, it's, online business is quite competitive. So I think for me, the biggest key to success is, not necessarily be the fastest or, be the biggest or whatever, but, customer satisfaction is so critical online. So, if I'll just give like a simple example, right? I'm a student, I'm starting an online business. Let's say I sew things, like let's say or something. All right. So, we really need to understand, what is it that my particular customer is looking for? Right? Is my customer looking for a global brand? Siguro hindi, di ba? What is the reason why I would buy beanies from, a young entrepreneur in Malabon? Okay, what is it about that person, etc. Now, all I can say is that, the tools, the digital tools, they are so accessible. Never before has it been as accessible today. Diba? Any entrepreneur can have its own media company.
Yes.
Diba? You can have your own TV station today. In the old days, you could only have so many stations. So now they can have their own TV station. So all I'm trying to say is, pick something that you can do well and find that market that really likes that, and then find a way to each other online. Kasi sa akin, it's always the intersection of demand and what you're good at that makes sense. Diba? You don't want to do something that you're not good at and then hindi rin magiging masaya yung customer mo at the end. Diba? And of course, the other thing is that you have to recognize that not everybody can be your customer or will be your customer. So, just focus on those that are looking for what you can deliver, and then try to make that connection and chat.
Okay, thank you. Professor Ferrer.
Ako medyo naiba. Kasi ako, yun ang gusto kong inihiwalay ko sa mga entrepreneur. So those that I've been advising through all this time. Huwag po tayo lumaban sa presyo, tayo lumaban sa pabilisan ng delivery. Lumaban po tayo kasi tayo lang meron. In other words, look for products or services that is uniquely yours, hard to replicate, but be ready to reintroduce new products or services once you are being copied already. Ang lagi ko sinasabi sa mga tao ko, pag sinabi sa akin, Sir, kinokopya tayo ng kalaban natin. Sabi ko sa kanya, matuwa ka. Sir, bakit ako matutuwa? Kinokopya nga tayo eh. Tandaan mo, yung nag-aaral ka, kung walang gusto mo, ano ibig sabihin? So, ang sinasabi ko lagi, pag kinopya tayo, ibig sabihin tama ginagawa. Ibig sabihin lang yan, we must be ahead of the time. We must always be ahead of the product or service that is not yet available, that we will only be the one to first launch. Be ready to be copied and be ready to continuously innovate.
Yes. Very good. Yes, very relatable, very true. So, ito yung interesting question. Meron tayo from our main hall, yung platform na ginagamit natin. No? I wish we had the person's name. But for now, ito, to follow that question about going online, no? Ito, up to what extent can online business be regulated by government? Very interesting question.
Right. No. Serious issue with government today.
Yes.
Because as a matter of fact, on the local government side, the issue is business permits.
Yeah.
Okay, business tax, etc. But that's going to be very difficult to regulate on where they are emanating from. From the national government side, boss, ang hirap po niyan i-monitor in terms of VAT, yung mga taxes na kailangan bayaran. And ako naman, ang view ko dyan, now is the best time we as entrepreneurs should pay our taxes because now it's the time government needs money to help people who cannot survive COVID. So, yung challenge dyan eh. The issue kasi is this eh. Government regulation is typically 5 years behind innovation. So, bago siya, just take a look at an example, itong Grab, di ba? At yung vehicles na ganyan. Regulations came in, nauna yung Grab eh. The regulations came in only later. Yun yung problema. Because as there are innovations in the marketplace, of course, we're allowed to play. I know government regulation will be far behind me. And by the time regulations come in, people who have copied what I've done will be regulated in the next game.
Yeah. Very, very insightful. What about you, Professor Cruz?
Shaila, can you repeat the question so I can answer it exactly?
Yes, sure. What about how can online businesses be regulated by the government?
So I'm assuming the person asking the question has an interest to regulate online businesses. Is that the context? So baka taga City Hall siya. Okay, sige. So so let me just say that all businesses have a lot of different flows, right? Inflows and outflows. So there's information flow, there's physical product flow, there's money flow. Okay. So you can find one place where you want to monitor action, right? Interaction. And you can try to regulate those things. Now, of course, for what purpose is the regulation? Is it taxation? Is it health and safety? Is it, whatever other aspect of governance it is, right? But on the other hand, on the back end, of course, you have all those business permit, health permit, register, building permit, so you have these different ways to regulate these online businesses. So if the question more directly is, katulad sa BIR na kaya mong i-monitor yung POS ng isang tindahan o yung resibo, kaya ba yun sa online? I would say, I'm sure kaya because, most of the money or most of the digital service providers are kind of compliant, depending on their actual classification. They are compliant to BSP regulation. So they are transparent. Okay, so my suggestion is, and I would be very happy to join this conversation in Malabon, if there's a need for the city government to find new revenue sources, and they're looking at the boom in digital business as a potential source, I think I would be very happy to, facilitate a conversation, a multi-stakeholder conversation, para lahat yung kailangan nila makuha, di ba? Kasi naiintindihan ko rin that, ting naman ng pandemic at merong bigayan ng ayuda, si LGU kailangan din maglabas ng pera, di ba? O kaya pag bumaha, kailangan din niya maglabas ng pera. Although syempre may share sa IRA, kailangan din niya may sarili din siyang kita, di ba? So I don't take it against any LGU to want to raise revenue, but I think that it has to be part of that virtuous cycle inside the city where people are happy to pay tax because they can see that the tax actually has a direct impact on how they do their business, di ba? Kasi yun sana yun di ba? I'm willing to pay my tax if it makes doing business in your city easier or better, etc. So, gusto ko yung I think it's a good, my guess it's coming from a government, and my request ang sa government official is, sige po, pero siguro sana po maganda ho yung framework para mapag-usapan, para maintindihan talaga concerns ng lahat ng stakeholders.
Yes, I actually love that, Professor Cruz. No? Let's open up that conversation, and I love that you're actually inviting the LGU of Malabon. Yeah, let's have that roundtable discussion. Let's talk with our stakeholders, our business holders in Malabon, and really see why this needs to be discussed, because I do understand that yes, our government does need help, does need money as well, and while the pandemic is affecting all our dapat may bigayan talaga for both sides. So fantastic question. Thank you so much for that. That's coming from our main hall. All right, we have a couple of minutes left. We have about 10 minutes to answer more questions. I know a lot of you have more questions that are coming in, and towards the end of the show, we'll share with you guys how else we can have this conversation keep going, right? But for now, one question is, do you think creating a cooperative, ito, maganda din to, no? Cooperative among micro or small businesses with the same or similar product. So like parang sa amin dito, currently in Caraga, so there's a lot of abaca here, no? Or raw product. And we see here that there are a lot of cooperatives. I don't know if it's that you could suggest there in the bigger cities such as Malabon.
Okay, let me start with that. All right. Many years ago, decades ago, government came up with what is known as the OTOP program under the one product DTI. When Mon Lopez was appointed DTI, I spoke to Mon and told Mon, i-adjust mo ng konti. Mukhang mali yung execution nun eh. Bakit? Ano nangyari? Which I hope that happened in Malabon. Eh nangyari, town one product, eh lahat sila doon sa Laguna, eh puro original na buko pie. At sila naglalabanan. But actually, the real sense of where that OTOP came from was in Italy. No, was in Italy. Yeah, in Italy. Where what was that the town has been contracted by branded leather products, for sake of argument, where each enterprise did a component. They did not do the whole bag. They did components of the bag, and that bag nabubuo kasi gawa ng isang town. Hindi yung lahat ng negosyante, parang bag ang ginawa. So, in effect, from that perspective, I was telling Mon, I was there, i-rethink mo yan, it's just creating competitiveness that drives the price down, that drives the entrepreneur to struggle more. So, my response is to come up with a product that is uniquely from Malabon, made by the households of Malabon, all right? And will be a product sold by Malabon, not the same product made by everybody with the same final product, killing each other in the marketplace.
Ang galing. Gusto ko yan. I'm very happy with that answer because even here, yan nga yung problema is nangyayari, every household gumagawa na ng product na yun. So you're very right that it's the price.
And everybody claims original.
Yes, correct. All right. What about you, Professor Richard Cruz?
Yeah, so I think, like any organization, whether LGU or co-op or NGO, etc., for me, successful co-ops can be successful, but it's really about the quality of the governance and the strategy behind it, right? So, Andy's point, I think, refers if you're a co-op, but your strategy is like monoproduct for whatever reason, then maybe that's just not the right strategy anymore, right? So, if I think about Malabon specifically, is it viable for citizens of Malabon to come together and put together a cooperative? I think so, yes. But what's happened, no? Ang pinakamalaking complaint ng co-op members sa co-op is the governance is not good. We cannot trust, or the governance is not transparent. That's one. And I think the second one really is kailangan mag-modernize din yung mga co-ops, yung pag-iisip din ng mga co-ops, diba? Yung they have to think really and compete with companies that are able to make more valuable and more sophisticated or more authentic products, and not just me too copy products, which I completely agree that too many people making too many Me Too products and trying to compete on the basis of price. Okay, so it's not a easy thing to do and be successful in co-ops, but I would definitely say that if the leaders of the vision and they have a high level of self-awareness in trying to have a better co-op, a more modern co-op, then I think then may pag-asa talaga na magkaroon siya ng success. Lalo na kung yun nga, yung kapartner niya halimbawa dun sa LGU ay forward. Okay, so I think it's more about the quality and the thought leadership of the governance that will make it successful.
Yes, thank you.
Meron akong dagdag. Ano? There's a new term, not really new, tagal na ito, na ang tinatawag nila corporative. Okay? This is a corporation, all right, which is run like a cooperative, and the benefits go to the members of the cooperative, of the corporation. So they call it corporative. It is found a lot in Mindanao,
Wow.
where it's a corporation but behaves like a cooperative.
And wow, that makes sense, no? Kung alam niyo yung ano yan ulit?
Corporative. Corporation
Yun.
na ang benefit para cooperative.
Oo, ang galing, ang ganda. And here in Mindanao, tama ba, Professor Ferreria?
Yeah, sa Mindanao, it's happening already.
Oh, wow.
Specifically in Panabo.
Panabo, oo, sa Davao. Okay.
Can I add one last thing? Ang panalangin ko talaga is sana magkaroon ng cooperative ng mga courier saka yung mga food delivery. Yung imbes na ang may-ari ay si Grab saka si Lalamove. So ng mga kooperatiba na ang may-ari ay yung mga riders. So baka yun ang baka pwedeng masimulan sa Malabon na pang serbisyo naman dun sa mga local na restaurant para sila naman ang tumulong dun sa pag-deliver ng pagkain.
Ang ganda. Ang ganda. So, sa mga nanonood, I hope you are having as much fun as I am. In fact, I can see here naman in Mayor Lenlen's page on Facebook that a lot of people are enjoying this roundtable discussion that we're having. So obviously, talagang ito yung mga kailangan marinig ng ating mga kababayan, lalo na yung mga constituents natin dyan sa Malabon. So you did mention sana may forward thinking na LGU, and it looks like this is it. We're doing a digital forum. We want to move forward. We're answering these questions. We're allowing you to answer questions that are related to the government, diba? So very forward thinking din ang mayor natin dito sa Malabon. And I have Charlie Carpio who is saying, thank you, Mayor Lenlen, for the very helpful learnings of our speakers for Malabon businesses. More businesses are energized to move forward despite this crisis. More power to you and have a good day. Madami pa tayong comments sa ganyan. If you guys would like to see them, it is on Mayor Lenlen's page. Just go ahead and scroll down. And we want to say thank you as well to the LGU of Malabon for doing this digital forum. Any last words from our speakers today? Mr. Richard, I'll have you go first, and then Professor Andy Ferreria as well.
Yeah, so I just want to thank the organizers, Mayor and Mayor's office, everybody in here. And of course, I want to thank everybody who's watched. To get better at business, it's really hard to do like in a 2-hour session. So, my expectations actually are reasonable given the time that we had together. But I do look forward to having future conversations. If you'd like to add me on LinkedIn, I would be happy to be friends with you on my professional LinkedIn page. So you can just look for Richard L. Cruz, and let's connect and let's network. There's no harm in making new connections, and hopefully I may be of some value to somebody there. Then I would be very grateful for that opportunity. So thank you so much. Thank you. And I want to say that I'm very, very proud to be speaking before my Professor Andy Ferreria. So Professor Andy, it's very good to be with you again. Maybe not physically this, at least here on Zoom. Thank you again for the opportunity. Good to see you.
Richard, pinapatanda mo naman ako eh.
I'm only 35 years old, sir.
Kasi kung si Richard, puti na buhok ng ganyan, tapos nag-estudyante ko pa, ang hirap isipin, ano? But anyway, I'd like to thank the organizers. I'd like to thank, the city of Malabon has been trying to invite me physically to come over over the past 5 years. Except that I could not come over because of the traffic. Ngayon, yung sinabing Zoom ho tayo, sige na ko, walang problema. And I think government should continue to have this dialogue with the entrepreneurs, for they are the one that drives the economy of the local government. So ang kwan ko lang, Mabuhay po ang Malabon, mabuhay din po yung mga entrepreneurs ng Malabon. Salamat po.
There you have it. Thank you again, Professor Andy Ferreira and Professor Richard Cruz, for joining us this afternoon. I would like to remind everyone as well, if you would like to share your LinkedIn profile so that you can connect with Professor Richard Cruz and Professor Andy Ferreira, you can go ahead. You can even type in your LinkedIn accounts, especially if you're a business owner. That way, we can all connect on LinkedIn. Kasi yun na yun, di ba, Professor Richard Cruz, nandun na tayo sa LinkedIn ngayon, because that's where we want to connect with our business people in the business arena. Thank you so much.
Sa akin lang ang suggestion ko, send the questions, whatever they are, to the organizers of this.
Yes.
Then email it to me and I will answer them one by one, rather than sending it to me.
All
because
right.
I want to have the local government take credit for it.
Wow. All right, we will definitely take you up on that. Again, thank you very much, Professors Andy Ferreira and Professor Richard Anthony Cruz. So there you have, ladies and gentlemen. Sana natuwa kayo sa pinakita natin today. Alam ko, tuwang-tuwa ang mga nanonood sa atin sa page ni Mayor Lenlen sa Facebook. Nakita natin ang mga comments ninyo. Maraming salamat. So go ahead to a quick break. Up next, please stick around. We have another lovely lady up next.
Sa lahat ng naririto, may this be a beautiful beginning of a long-lasting partnership.
All right, so there you have it. We promised you we would be after that quick break. Up next, we have somebody who is an absolute to be reckoned with. She started her public service career as a member of the 14th Congress of the House of Representatives. Together with other veteran legislators, she pushed to legislate House measures to improve education, health, infrastructure, and socio-economic state of the country. In the 15th and 16th Congress, she was a vice chairman for the Committee on Appropriations, a committee in the House of Representatives tasked to prepare and scrutinize the fiscal budget of the country. She was given the opportunity to lead the budgetary proposals for several big agencies, such as the Department of Trade and Industry, PAGCOR, PhilRacom, among others. Like her previous term, she spent most of her time looking for budgetary support to improve the social services and medical facilities and to develop an environment in Malabon City for the youth that is conducive to learning. She championed bills pertaining to anti-carnap, the number of courts in Malabon to declog cases. She also proposed the increase of bed capacity in Lorenzo Ruiz Women's Hospital and upgraded the barangay health stations, among many others. In the 18th Congress, she proposed measures to help improve the financial capacity of our workers in the grassroots level. She wanted to improve infrastructure that would make all facilities accessible to all our PWDs, and the tax exemptions accorded to small business owners in addition to many other As if she weren't busy enough being just an amazing woman in government, she is also a mother of three and wife to Awaray PL representative, Honorable Ben Lacson Noel, who is an advocate for business development and the most energetic woman during the recent speech squabble. Di ko alam, nakita niyo yan. The lady in red, please let us welcome Congresswoman Lacson Noel.
Hi, thank you, Shaina. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having me today. I hope all of you are negative and well. Negative with the virus and well in your business health. The global pandemic caused by COVID-19 has forced all of us to look at things around us with a different view. Our personal relationships, our personal goals, and priorities, and our businesses. What we have been calling in the beginning of the health crisis as the new normal is now becoming the normal, especially in how we conduct and run our businesses. I acknowledge that this is perhaps the most difficult experience we have had as businessmen and entrepreneurs, losing capital, losing assets. Even giant companies that otherwise we thought would have been untouchables have downsized or cut operations. Others are worse, declaring bankruptcy and shutting down and closing shop. What makes this experience even more difficult is the fact that we had to let go of employees, most of whom have been with us for so long, and we may have been considered, most of them having considered our family. Most of these are breadwinners, so the sufferings were extended even further. And as your representative in Congress, these woes are multiplied many times over for me as a public servant and your voice in the government. So we are gathered here today not only to share our sub-stories, but also to find ways that we can help each other and somehow make each other stronger and more resilient in the middle of this global crisis. And I think we start with underscoring what we should be focused on, emphasizing what is important today so we can have a better tomorrow. What are the things we need to recover from this crisis? What do you know that I should know being a representative? Here in Malabon, we will be pushing for aquaponics program. I am excited and proud of this program that I will spearhead here. In social media, this thing called the plantitos and plantitas are getting to be popular. It may be a social fad, but it gives the message that agriculture, you've mentioned it earlier, even in an urban setting like Malabon, can save the day for all of us and our constituents. I believe that two areas the government should be pursuing for the long term is agriculture and IT. Agriculture can hammer down the idea that we should be encouraging our people, those in our families, and those who work for us to look at possibilities and opportunities that will ensure we have food security however way we can provide it. And then there is the IT side of business. Thankfully, long before the pandemic, we have been very much involved with the electronic side of business. We are a highly technological country, leading in social media and Asia's center in the BPO industry. We like things done quick and in an instant, we are good at it. There is this talk of the third telco, so hopefully our internet service will be better. So to quicken our economic recovery, maybe we need to invite more people, particularly the young, to get more adept and imbued with knowledge of IT. Soon, IT giant businesses will dominate our world, our lives, and we need a strong and competitive workforce. We all should study and monitor these business developments very closely. Agri and IT can be the redeemer of our future. We all hope the vaccine that can protect us from this virus would be here soon. But in the meantime, let us all look at the opportunities around us. E-businesses can refuel our dwindling economy through the creation of consumer-to-business relations and vice versa. We should further improve our mastery of the e-business. Other speakers here today might talk of new and upcoming technological innovations that are timely and beneficial to the And most importantly, I hope our experts have already devised the ways to mitigate risks and other downsides of e-businesses so we are all protected. As your representative in Congress, I encourage each and every e-business operators and owners, as well as our upcoming e-business tycoons, to follow all the laws relative to e-business operations. We have actually quite a few. 178 or the Barangay Micro Business Enterprises, and RA 11032 or the Ease of Doing Business, to name a few. Through the efforts of our good and handsome Mayor Lenlen Oreta, we have programs that will solve unemployment and poverty within our city that can also open doors of opportunities for everyone. Programs that can help create jobs, that can encourage more high technology innovations, and those self-sustaining businesses. Let's start with small steps in our city to improve our economy and the lives of the people affected by the pandemic and challenges caused by the COVID-19. Through our collective efforts, we can carry out meaningful and impactful programs that will change our future for the better. Good afternoon again to all, and please continue to stay safe. Kayang-kaya ng Malabon. Good afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable J. Lacson Noel, represented the Lone District of Malabon. And now, we're here on the interesting part of the forum as well. Hindi ito usually ginagawa, so we're very excited to actually make this happen. We are going to put our participants in the main hall. Siyempre, yung mga nanonood sa atin ng live via Facebook, later on you will be able to watch what we will be doing in these breakout rooms. But in the meantime, those who are watching us in this platform that we have, they're gonna go on breakout sessions and we're going to discuss yung mga pinag-usapan natin kanina ng ating mga speakers, no? So these are the questions that we'd like you guys to answer during your breakout sessions. Kasi minsan ang malungkot nangyayari yung mga webinars, nangyayari itong mga online business forums or online forums, lang usapan afterwards. Ang maganda with the LGU of Malabon is they wanted to have after. Let's talk about how we can indeed move forward. Hindi ito one-way na conversation na yung speaker lang natin ang makikipag-usap sa inyo. Gusto natin yung mga nag-attend, yung mga sumama sa atin ngayon, you guys also get to talk to one another and, just brainstorm on what we learned. So here are our questions for you. So please note it down already. So number one question, kamusta po? Pwede ba natin ma-share kung ano ang impact sa atin sa mga businesses natin pandemic? That's question number one. Number two, what have been your best practices so far? And paano kayo nakaka-cope during this pandemic? And of course, question number three is, would you like to have more sessions like what we had this afternoon? This let the government know that we want this to continue. We want these conversations to continue. We want more learnings, more of this. But of course, we want to know if that you would like as well. So what topics, of course, would interest you as well? All right. And of course, we will be highlighting for our live viewers who are watching us on Facebook and on YouTube, we will be highlighting the break room with our dear mayor. So we will be with other business owners. I'll say who they are just after this quick break that we'll have. So do stick around for those of you that need to go to take a drink of water, take a cup of coffee, prepare a cup. This is the time to do that. We'll be right back after the break.
The city of Malabon, composed of 21 barangays, with a population of 365,525 people. Guided with a vision, maging mapagkalingang pamahalaan sa maginhawa at masayang Malabonian. And mission, magbigay ng angkop at sapat na paglilingkod mula sa puso para sa lahat. #Promise. Mayor Lenon's promise has been fulfilled with his unwavering passion to public service. Poverty reduction, organization management, infrastructure schemes, and environment. This is the same promise that carried our city to the next level. Poverty reduction. Combating poverty has been on top of Mayor Lenon's priorities. One of the sustainable and long-term solutions to lift our people from the poverty line are the employment opportunities. These are regular referral and placement, job fair, skills training, special program for employment of students, and emergency employment. An effective way of alleviating the lives of the people is through livelihood programs. Through the effort of Mayor Lenon Oreta, Lingap Kabuhayan project was implemented. 62 Malabonians received packages of goods amounting to 7,000 pesos each. This provided them seats for small businesses. Meanwhile, education programs put our youth forward in realizing reforms and development, particularly in breaking the intergenerational poverty. Mayor Lenon believes that such projects contribute to increasing the number of our productive population. There has been an increase in the number of enrollees in City of Malabon University or CMU, with higher passing rates of students of accountancy and education. High completion rates in the City of Malabon Polytechnic Institute or CMPI. High patronage in libraries in Barangay Katmon and Barangay Hulong Duhat in the aid of new technologies such as e-library. There has been construction of new school buildings to accommodate the perennial increase of enrollees and to comply with the K-12 program of the Department of Education. New Oreta Building in CMU, New Marcelo Building in CMPI, new 3-story, 12-classroom building in Malabon National High School, and the new Pagpar Building in Ninoy Aquino Elementary School. It has been the vision of the good mayor to provide affordable and accessible education to the constituents, particularly to the less fortunate students, to uplift their living condition. On the other hand, the government, both at the national and local level, share the vision on providing quality life to our people. Malabonians are lucky to have the opportunity to acquire a decent place to live through Mayor Lenon's housing programs. Malabon Homes 1, in partnership with the National Housing Authority. Medium-rise housing for government employees, Phase 2, a public-private partnership with FINMA Corporation. Providing better lives to our people includes ensuring peace and order to our society. It is imperative to ensure that our people have no less than a society where they can harness the best of what they can be as citizens of Malabon. Regular fora, meetings, consultations, and public awareness on drug prevention, anti-bullying, gender equality orientations, peace building, countering radicalization, and anti-violence against women. The community groups are also strengthened to serve as force multiplier in their respective areas. The locality makes sure that the efforts of Tanods, Lupong Tagapamayapa, Ladies Brigade, and organizations of the same functions are recognized with consolidated and coordinated efforts. To ensure public safety and order and mobility of commuters, new street lights were constructed in major and secondary roads. Presently, additional 66 units of street lights were already installed and 10 units more are nearly completed. Mayor Lenon Oreta truly believes that through this project, more business investors will be enticed to venture in the city, thereby creating more employment and further boost revenue of the government.
Maganda ang business namin dito sa Malabon at kung mag-expand pa ako, dito pa rin sa Malabon. Ini-invite ko yung mga gustong mag-invest, sa Malabon na kayo mag-invest. Maganda cooperation ng ating mayor, ng ating mga konsehal ng barangay. Magandang magputak ng business dito. Ganun din yung mga investor na gusto sana, na pwede sana, dito na lang kayo mag-start sa Malabon mag-business.
Pag-usapan natin ng peace and order sa Malabon, maayos at matahimik sa pangkalahatan in general, no? At ito naman ang pinaka-importante sa mga negosyante. Sa City Hall, pagka kumuha kayo ng permit, basta kompleto ang papeles, hindi kayo pinahirapan ng City Hall. Halimbawa, mayroong pinag-uusapan sa konseho tungkol doon naman sa mga batas na tungkol sa negosyo. Tinatawagan ni Mayor yung mga negosyante para kunin ang mga opinion ng mga negosyante upang makaroon ng magandang konklusyon. Kaya kami at iba pang mga negosyo sa Malabon, nananatili sa Malabon, hangat namin na umulat pa ang Malabon at makaroon ng tagumpay.
Organization management. To attract businessmen and investors to the city, shortened process of securing business permits has been institutionalized. One-stop shop. Task Force Anti-Red Tape of the City Government of Malabon. Citizens Charter. These programs truly respond to the needs of the clients, improving service delivery efficiency, thereby ensuring client satisfaction in availing frontline services. Catering to more businesses, the city established its own Go Negosyo Center. Tripartite Industrial Peace Council has been established to serve as a platform for laborers and the business owners to discuss issues and concerns on employment. Several multi-purpose buildings have been established to render the immediate public services and needs, bringing good governance closer to respective communities. In realizing quality and reliable development, infrastructure schemes have been implemented, one of which is the upgrading of bridges across Malabon-Tulyahan River, thus strengthening community resiliency to flood and improving drainage system in the area.
Bakit pa ako maglalagay ng negosyo iba kung meron pang pagkakataon dito sa Malabon? Nabibigyan mo ng trabaho mga kababayan, nagbabayad ka ng tax sa ating Malabon City Government na alam naman natin na maayos ang pamamalakad at walang nasasayang na pondo ng gobyerno rito. Kaya ina-encourage ko na yung mga ibang nagninegosyo. Madaling magnegosyo dito. This is really a business-friendly place na ang gobyerno suportado ang nagninegosyo.
Malabon City Government also takes into account initiatives for our environment. These include Flood Control Program. Additional flood control projects have been implemented to complement the Kamanava Area Flood Control and Drainage Improvement Project. New pumping stations were constructed in various critical and flood-prone areas. Dredging and widening projects were implemented and almost completed along Malabon-Tulyahan River. Anti-littering ordinance based on the apprehension report of the City Environmental and Natural Resources Office or CENRO, the ordinance where they follow strict issuance of sanctions. May Kita sa Basura project conducted every third Saturday of the month by CENRO staff together with National Recyclers Organization of the Philippines Polytrader. And also, tree planting and mangrove planting activities. Mayor Lenlen's promise paved way for a more business-suitable Malabon. These projects only shows that there are a lot of things to look forward to in our community, that Malabon truly has its potential. Experiencing Malabon. Its people and its culture gives us astounding heritage. and haven of culinary treasures. Malabon Tricycle Tours. Food Trip Special. As what Mayor Lenin Oreta said, ang maayos na pamahalaan ay hindi nagagawa ng isang tao lamang. Kung tayo ay magkakaisa, sama-sama, tulong-tulong, siguradong lahat kaya natin.
Malabon, an old Spanish town north of Manila, is known not only for its rich cultural traditions, culture, and history, but also of its unwavering and enduring contributions to the economic development of the country. At present, the city of Malabon continues its tradition in providing valuable inputs and support for the country's economic sustainability and development. Malabon also boasts of its abundant, productive, highly trained, and efficient manpower. With a total population of 365,525, 50.11%, or about 179,806 are female, and about 49.89%, or 179,050 are male. The city has a characteristically young population of 178,243 individuals belonging to the age bracket of 0 to 24 years old. This signifies the number of skilled and professional individuals integrated and may be integrated into the workforce. Concomitantly, the city caters to respectable and notable academic educational institutions, both public and private, as well as vocational and technical institution, ensuring of a steady supply of adept and knowledgeable manpower. There are about a total of 46 elementary private and 28 public elementary schools in the city, and about 16 private and 15 public high schools that provide basic education programs to 173,610 students. At the onset of the K-12 program, there are 10 accredited private schools and 12 public schools offering senior high school, offering 2 of the 4 tracks, namely Academic, General Academic Strand, or GAS, Accounting, Business and Management, or ABM, Science and Technology, Engineering and Mathematics, or STEM, and Humanities and Social Sciences, or HUMS, and 2 Technical Vocational and Livelihood, or TVL. These institutions facilitate learning to about 4,892 student learners. To further advance the capability of the learners and the city's manpower, 3 higher educational institutions, or HEIs, or tertiary level institutions, are found in the city, namely the City of Malabon University, with about 4,010 enrollees, Arellano University, and De La Salle Araneta University, which are private in character. These HEIs offer courses and programs suitable to the needs of the business community and demands of the country. The degrees and programs offered, among others, are BS Information Technology, Mechanical Engineering Technology, Associate in Computer Secretarial, AB Political Science, AB Journalism, AB Public Administration, BS in Education, BS in Elementary Education, BS in Childhood Education, Professional Education, BS in Accountancy, BS in Business Administration, BS in Management Accountancy. Postgraduate programs are also offered, consisting of MA in Education, MA in Education Management, Masters in Business Administration, Masters in Public Administration, Doctorate Degree in Education Management, Doctor of Public Administration, and Doctor of Business Administration. The City of Malabon University complements the requirements of the city and the industry not only by providing capable professionals, but ensure that the research projects and community extension services conform to, complement, and produce viable outcomes beneficial to the city and the industry. Not only does the city produce professionals who are experts in their own fields, but also highly capable and trained skilled workers. The City of Malabon Polytechnic Institute, or CMPI, the city's premier technical and vocational institution, offers programs and trainings in automotive servicing, electric arc welding, computer systems servicing, computer electronics, beauty care, hairdressing, motorcycle maintenance and repair, dressmaking and C2, tailoring, fashion apparel, electric installation and maintenance and C2, and rack servicing and C2. Aside from CMPI, the city also has 7 TESDA-accredited schools offering technical and/or skills training. From the total population of the city, 61.5% of which, or 224,722, belong to the workforce. About 93.9%, or 211,013, of the workforce are formally employed, though there is about 18.4% rate of underemployment and 6.5% unemployment rate. As of the year 2016, there are about 20 manpower skills available in the city, namely data encoder, machine operator, welder, electrician, assembler, housekeeping, driver, IT programmer, bartender, power press operator, rider, waiter, machinist, cook, graphic artist, aircon technician, and AutoCAD operator. The City of Malabon also boasts of a thriving and robust trade-in industry. For the year 2016, the Business Permit and Licensing Office has recorded 943 business applications and a recording of a 10.04% increase, and with 6,141 business establishments renewing their licenses and permits. These business establishments comprise small, medium, and large-scale business or enterprises that includes, but not limited to, the food, manufacturing, and service industries. Not only does the city feature a steady supply of highly trained and skilled professionals and manpower, and a thriving business community, its geophysical environment and location also contribute to reasons for investing in the city. The city is bounded on the north and northeast by Valenzuela, on the west and southwest by Navotas, and the east and southeast by Caloocan City. The eastern portion of Malabon lies on the Guadalupe Plateau Zone. As such, there are about 31 access points in the city located in various barangays, namely Barangay Tanyong, Longos, and Hulong Duhat, leading to Navotas City, Barangay Longos, Tugatog, and Potrero, which lead to Caloocan City, and Barangay Potrero, Santulan, and Panghulo, which lead to Valenzuela City. The city's location is accessible to all types, means, and modes of transportation, both public and private. Commuters have access to and from the city either through the abundant motorcycles, tricycles, which can take passengers and commuters to any point in Malabon, jeepneys and buses, as well as the pedicabs or sidecars, which travels along the side streets and alleys of the city. The city is likewise accessible through the use of ferry boats from Navotas City. Aside from its accessibility to various modes of transportations, the city also has more than adequate electricity and water supply and communication services. The electrical supply of Malabon is being supplied by Meralco, with 97% having access to electricity. Similarly, Maynilad is the sole supplier of water, level 2 piped water supply, with 95% of the city's households being serviced. With respect to communication services, There are two communication services operating in the city, namely Bayan Telecommunications Company or Bayantel and PLDT. The city strictly adheres to and is deeply guided by its core values. Marangal, alagad ng kalikasan, likas, adventurista, bait, obras pias, and nationalismo, or Malabon. These values are the epitome of a true Malabonian, embodying a person who possesses strength and character, intelligence, skilled, productive, proactive, accountable, and nationalistic. Those traits are essential and are required in a highly competitive and globalized world. These core values of the city serve also as the guiding principle and policy in its goal to bridge manpower skills with employment opportunities that will benefit not only the business community, but will go a long way to achieve a much better quality of life for the residents of Malabon. Basta't sama-sama, lahat kaya natin.
The city of Malabon. For the past years, Malabon has become the home of diverse culture, values, and people. We have consistently made significant accomplishments and successfully conducted programs and projects that are dedicated to the Malabonians. In 2016, the first business forum was conducted with the theme #Kaunlaran Natin. Mayor Lenlen assured that poverty reduction remains as one of his top priorities. Thus, several programs such as providing employment opportunities, livelihood, quality education, and housing are organized to give quality life to the Malabonians. The following year's business forum carried the theme Bridging Manpower Skills with Employment Opportunities. Focused on the efficiency of Malabon's manpower and how training the residents can not only benefit the business community but also help achieve better quality of life. Through conducting programs for the betterment of the Malabonians, a dynamic and fruitful reality is built between the government and the people. And now, with this year's theme, Understanding Millennials in the Workforce, Millennials are given the torch as the future of our ever-developing world. Millennials make up the 55.19% of our labor force here in Malabon. They put a lot of trust in leadership and values. Also, they often look for a place of work where they could feel their personal social responsibility, mold their personal and career growth, and have a family-oriented work environment.
I'm Rosh Reyes, 25 years old, owner of RAS Pizza Hub. We are a pizza resto business owned by me. Technically, I'm the owner, but it's more of the family business. 3 years na siyang nag-exist. So, meron na kaming 3 branches, 2 in Malabon, both in Potrero. Yung first is nasa Araneta Village. Second is along Potrero MacArthur Highway. Meron kaming newest branch along EDSA MCU, Caloocan City. Lahat naman siguro tayo gusto natin mag-earn. So for me, personally, gusto ko mag-earn. So at a young age, nag-isip ako ng possible kong pagkunan ng earnings. So doon kami pumasok sa food. So yung food na yun, naisip namin pwedeng i-partner like coffee, commonly coffee, breads, or snacks. Then, napunta kami sa pizza. So after a while, researching, partner namin si Google and si YouTube. Ito kami nagsimula. So like other business nga, nagsimula kami sa maliit, even yung capital namin maliit. So unti-unti, ayun, lumaki. So nakakatuwa naman, meron kami 3 branches. So masasabi ko siguro, ang motivation namin sa pag-business ito is to have a better earnings and a good life. Pinakamalaking factor sa millennial is social media. Millennial, nakadikit siya sa social media. So siguro, kung mag-business tayo sa ganitong edad, bilang millennial, pwede nating i-relate or i-coordinate sa social media yung pag-business natin. So, napakabilis kasi ng social media, napaka-effective niya. In positive and in a negative way. So, kung magiging responsible tayo sa paggamit ng social media, maayos ang ating intention, maayos ang ating motivation sa sarili, mabilis natin mapapalaki yung business natin through social media. Kasi millennial, siguro dahil nga, nasa mas bata pa tayong edad, siguro mas energetic tayo, mas motivated tayong palakihin yung business o kung ano mang negosyong meron tayo. So, dahil bata, mas energetic siguro, mas malaki yung motivation, mas masipag tayong kumilos. So, ayun, napakalaking character or traits ng mga bata yun. Kaya nagiging effective or lumalaki yung kanilang mga business. And again, I am Rocio Reyes, owner of Reyes Pizza Hut, young entrepreneur, proudly from Malabon.
Ako si Aaron Cedric Manaloto, ang owner ng Manaloto Art Shop. Nag-start ako sa syempre may Facebook. Then, syempre, libre ang Facebook. Yung mga mahilig kasi ako mag-drawing. So, pinupost ko lagi siya sa Facebook. Tapos, syempre, marami nakakita ang mga friends. May mga nag-message sa magpapagawa. Then, naisip ko magkaroon ng yung ibuo yung Manaloto Art Shop na page. Kasi na-inspire din ako sa mga online shop na uso, di ba? Nag-trend yung online shop. Mga nagtitinda, iba't ibang products. So sa akin, like portrait artworks, mural paintings, iba-iba. So, si Manaloto Art Shop, hindi lang ako yung artist. May mga kasama ako. So, syempre, dahil millennial tayo, Instagram, Facebook, lahat yan libre lang. So, parang, pag nagbubuo ako ng artwork, parang syempre gusto ko ipakita sa tao. So, may Facebook tsaka Instagram na libre. Parang napopost ko lahat doon ng mga artworks. So, paano ko naman siya napagsasabay? Siyempre, pag nasa day job ka, kung nasa trabaho ka, focus muna sa trabaho. Tapos, pag may free time, doon ko lang nagagawa yung sa online shop. Parang time management din. Parang kesa magsayang ako ng load sa pag-browse lang, sa pag-like lang. So, ginagamit ko yung talent ko, yung kaya ko, na i-share sa iba, na kaya ko itong gawin, na kaya kong mag-service ng ganito, para kumita ng pera, ng extra income. Again, ako si Aaron Cedric Manaloto, owner ng Manaloto Art Shop. Nagtatrabaho din sa bilang graphic artist ng Sterling Paper, isang proud Malabonian.
The use of technology and social media has also been a part of every millennial's daily life. It is essential as it has become one of the major modes of communication. The future of our city lies in the hands of our young generation. Through understanding and connecting with the millennials, truly we can assure that Malabon is indeed a place full of potential. Through active participation of our various sectors and the people, we can make Malabon a city for every millennial and a city of every generation. Basta't sama-sama, kaya natin!
be a beautiful beginning of a long-lasting partnership. Sa lahat ng naririto, may this be a beautiful beginning of a long-lasting partnership.
Ma'am Julie will be on Facebook Live. Just a minute. We'll let Shyla come up.
Oo, nawawala.
Opo. Ano muna tayo? Let Shyla talk muna.
All right, there you have it. Thank you so much. That was a break. I hope that you guys were able to make use of. You were able to grab your coffee kung kailangan man, or just let all that information sink in. So alam natin no na in the scenes, you guys are already in your breakout room. Some of you are already discussing the topics and the questions that we posted earlier and that I asked of you guys a while ago. So let's go into the breakout room of where our dear Mayor Lenlen is at. Let's join him there and let's say hi to those other people that he is with, and let's go ahead and ask them those questions.
Okay.
Hello, Mayor Len. So
Hello.
happy to have you back.
Hi. Hello. Hi, Shyla. Hello.
There you go. So let's have people introduce themselves first. Mayor, everybody knows you. If we can go ahead with Miss Julie Marquez, if you can just introduce yourself, ma'am, the company you're connected with, please.
Actually, I'm Governor Judy of PCCI. And, excuse me, I was a citizen of Malabon. I was born in Malabon, and then my father was a peddler. He's giving something puppies to our customer, the drugstores in Malabon, Nabotas, etc., other cities. And we really enjoy. My father's practice is to give something. So every time we go to the customer, they're looking for us. I was just a small kid before, but my father is really hardworking. That's why I learned a lot from him, and I was really from rags to yes. Now, awa ni Lord, I'm making good in my business. I'm doing alcohol, and I'm glad na I was really touched by the way he's doing. What are his achievements in Malabon? I know someday it will be a big Malabon. In how
Thank
many
you so
years?
much, Governor Julie.
Yeah.
I'm so amazed. Tignan niyo naman, diba? If Governor Julie can go on the internet, ito na talaga yung way natin. We're all moving towards that. So get on the program as well.
Wow,
Next
ang galing. Very good. I like your
Ma'am Julie.
ideas.
What about you, Sir Jasper?
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Jasper Lim. I'm the General Manager of Malabon City Square. Dito tayo sa may road corner ng Latagan Avenue. Yun lang, that's it.
Okay, thank you very much. And of course, Sir Leo.
Good afternoon. Hello. Good afternoon. I'm Leo and currently working din sa City Government of Malabon, Social Media Administrator.
Ayan. So, at questions natin po kanina. Ano po yung naging impact sa inyo nitong pandemic? So, let's have Jasper first, then Julie, and then Leo, and then of course, our dear Mayor. Jasper, go ahead.
Yeah, well, dito, ano tayo being in the mall business, yung tenants natin a mix of essential and non-essentials. So even during the lockdown, tayo, if only to provide for the essential needs of our customers.
Okay.
So yung what other were on lockdown, open yung super natin, yung ika, money remittance, mga ganyan, para at least kahit paano hindi naman pilay.
Okay. So that's good to hear, no? So that's good to hear na in your business, it wasn't affected as badly, tama ba, Sir Jasper? Kasi syempre, you are providing essentials, no?
Hindi. Actually, we are one of the hardest hit na industry.
Okay.
Pero kailangan natin ituloy yung operations para lang para lang makapagbigay ng serbisyo sa mga customer natin. Pero kung hindi naman talaga, yung mall industry, one of the hardest hit yan during this pandemic.
Oo, totoo yan. Nakikita din natin yan kahit dito sa
Yes,
city
yes.
namin. Governor Julie, kayo po, kamusta po yung impact ng pandemic sa inyo?
Actually, since I was doing alcohol, we are manufacturing alcohol. It's good for the manufacture of alcohol. Everybody needs alcohol, di ba? But I really I donated a lot of alcohol to our frontliners and even to the municipality of Valenzuela because they are close to me. And I'm planning to give also in Malabon. So I hope I could help, di ba?
Yes,
I
yes.
need to help this pandemic problems in our area.
Oh, tama. Sir Leo, kayo you're in the government alongside Mayor. Ano yung naging epekto sa'yo? Personally, Leo, or sa government mismo?
Hello? Ayan. Sabi naman government is, I think, hindi siya naging effect, but yung challenge na nangyari. Kasi parang biglaan. And I think sa sa mga online businesses, yung mas nakatulong kami sa mga online businesses.
Lalo na yung social media, no?
Yes.
Mayor, I'm sure everybody would like to hear.
Yes, actually.
How was it like for you?
Nako, Shaila, laking epekto nitong pandemya, no? Actually, napakaswerte ng mga taong gobyerno kasi kahit papano, they get their full salaries. Sa totoo lang, when the pandemic happened, a lot of people got scared and they didn't want to come to work. So I was having a hard time getting people to come to work. And tapos nagkaroon ng work from home. But yung work from home, sa totoo lang, napakahirap because they don't give kulang yung deliverables. So we had to rally everyone again. Hey, we have to face this pandemic head on. You know, I mean, it's here, and we have to face it. So we have to come up with solutions. You know, paano ba yung collections? Definitely mahirap ngayon kasi sa totoo lang lahat na apektuhan. Madami hindi nagbabayad ng buwis, no? And if pag wala nagbabayad, wala tayong mga programa. So we have to encourage people to pay their taxes. More than anything, also, it's a matter of all our departments talking. Kailangan nag-uusap-usap kasi madaming misunderstandings, madaming hindi nagkakalabo-labuan. So hindi madali pinagdaanan. And then, you know, when we had the lockdown, all of a sudden the city was told to feed the whole city. So hindi madali yun because ang hirap kumuha ng goods because we don't have that capacity. Usually, kung may sunog, meron tayong kakayahan for some goods, but not to feed the whole city. So we tapped the barangay captains sa ating mga barangay to help us, and sila binagsakan natin ng goods para ma-deliver sana sa lahat mapuntahan. So kailangan talaga tulong-tulong yung bayanihan spirit. That's what we advocated. Na kailangan nagkakaisa, nagtutulong-tulong. And I mean, more than anything really, that we should all work together. So at least, hindi tayo magso-survive. Andito pa tayo. Kaya thank God. And actually, more than anything now, it's the power of prayer. You know, when things are so uncertain, we don't know what to do. You know, we look to a higher being to give us guidance. So, yes.
Ang ganda ng discussion nito because not just your constituents in Malabon, we're doing this live. So in fact, a lot of other government officials will be able to see this. And maganda yung nakikita natin yung ano yung pinagdaanan nyo din, diba? So thank you so much for sharing that, Mayor Len. Next question, siguro I'll ask Sir Jasper first. Ano yung naging best practice nyo na nakatulong sa inyo and your business from not closing during this time na baka it will give hope to our other MSMEs?
Well, sa ngayon, yung mga rentals natin heavily discounted. Pero right now, survival is the name of the game. So in being in this business, we have to take the good with the bad. So
Ano yung mga, siguro, Sir Jasper, like some like practical advice that we can give our MSMEs as to just, I like what you said, let's focus on how to survive. Not muna thrive in the season, but how to survive. How were you able with your company? You're here 7 months later.
yeah. Most of our tenants naman have been with us more than 10 years, at least more than 5 years, ganyan. So, meron na yung relationship eh. Talagang kami, from the mall developer side, ang priority natin is mag-survive sila. Sila muna. So ngayon, we do everything we can to help them out. Wag lang mag-close. Kasi once na mag-close yan, mahirapan ka rin naman humanap ng kapalit. As well, supportahan lang una na rin nag-invest sa atin. So, yan ang ano natin ngayon, motto natin ngayon. So hopefully, both of us makasurvive past this pandemic.
Great advice. Gusto ko yun. I think we should focus on yung relationship that we have with our tenants, with our business partners, or even with our clients, di ba? Yun yung ingatan natin. Kasi pag nawala yun, who knows? Ms. Julie, I'll ask you because you mentioned you're also in the business of selling alcohol. Ano yung naging best practices nyo naman na makakatulong sa ibang MSMEs natin? You're on mute, Ma'am Julie.
Sellers. Yeah. We support them. We give them lower cost of alcohol so they can sell a lot and they earn a lot, especially this small entrep that they are selling alcohol in the nearby places and making a certain markup. But I give them the lowest price I could give. Kasi like now, alcohol is going down. So I'm giving a better price now. Kasi we must adjust according to the cost, di ba? And happily, I'm now giving a lower cost alcohol. And quality, of course. Okay?
Yes. Ayan. Okay. Thank you, Ms. Thank you very much. Well said, Governor. Next, Sir Mayor, ano naman yung nakita niyong best practices?
Actually, Shaila, I just want to point out, I want to thank our private organizations, no? Sa La Jasper, lahat nagtulong-tulong. And we owe it all to everyone na ignite yung bayanihan spirit. Madami dito, madaming businesses, kahit alam nila, hirap sila, they want to contribute and help the city. And of course, yun nga, yung ating mga kapitan tumulong, yung mga department heads natin, we gumalaw, nagkaisa to help the city run. At thank God that we made it here, and then hopefully we get better at it, because we always have to adopt and get used to these things. And yun nga, kailangan di tayo natatakot. Alamin natin, ito yung mga kailangan gawin at ginagawa natin. At so malaking pasasalamat to everyone helping out, because we can't do this alone. We all have to work together. Well, who's this?
We support you.
Yes, thank you, Governor Julie. Malaking tulong yun. So, yun talaga, kailangan nagkakaisa tayo.
Padadalang kita ng alcohol.
Oh, thank you po. Maraming salamat.
Maraming salamat, Governor Julie.
I think napadalan mo na ako ng alcohol. I have several alcohol na may calling card niyo po. Maraming salamat.
Padadalang kita.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for your kind heart.
Now, we should support our businesses here, no? Kasi tignan naman natin, if you could buy the products within our city, malaking matulong yon para at least umiikot within our community yung trade industry dito, no? Para lahat tayo umaasenso. So yun ang kailangan, nagtutulong.
Yes, totoo yan.
Okay.
And Sir Leo, what about you? Ano yung nakita niyong best practices na ginagawa ng business owners dyan sa Malabon?
Padalang ko siya 50K.
Sir Leo.
Nawala.
Mahina yung signal eh. I mean, that's something that we do.
And mukhang nawala si Sir Leo. So that's okay. So we want to thank our panel here today. We really want to thank Governor Julie, Sir Jasper, thank you. I think si Sir Leo nawala na. Mayor Lenlen, thank you so much for taking the time. Your constituents really appreciate it. Non-stop, no, ang thank you nila sa Facebook. So I'll just go ahead and read some of them, no. So ayan, watching from BSMA 2A from CMU, sobrang ginhawa sa mga computer, sabi ni Helvia Rapil sa Lao. Regina Lumio sa salamat ng proyekto para sa Malabon yan. Thank you po, Rosalie Policarpio. Your number 1 mayor, sabi ni Heldia also. Marisa Kayabyab, thank you from Barangay Maysilo. Ang daming nagko-comment sa Facebook. So thank you so much for joining us. But that ends our breakout session for today. So sa mga nagdi-discuss pa dyan sa breakout rooms nyo, sana nag-enjoy kayo. And please let us know through the chat box or through the comment boxes on Facebook or YouTube, ano pa yung mga future topics na gusto nyo mangyari? Would you like to have more sessions like what the City of Malabon did for us all today? And if yes, what topics interest you? That way our LGU can look through these topics and hopefully we can now have something like this again. Before we say goodbye, Mayor, nandyan pa ba si Mayor? Wala na rin siguro. Ay, sorry. Mayor, before we go on a quick break, would you like anything to our audience?
Thank you for tuning in. We have a lot more things to learn. And as long as we stick together, slogan natin, sama-sama, anumang pagsubok, kaya natin. Kaya importante yun. Nagtutulungan tayo, nagkakaisa. But please stay because we're not yet finished.
Yes. Thank you
so much. I have to
much.
plug my computer, running out of batteries.
Thank you. But that's good. Thank you so much, Mayor Lenlen. That's it. Thank you as well. Again, Governor Lee, Sir Jasper, Sir Leo for joining our breakout session today. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you were happy with what you witnessed in our
Yes.
rooms today. And I hope that...
Very fruitful.
Thank you, Governor. So I hope that other participants were able to get inputs from our panel discussion this afternoon. Let's go ahead on a quick break. We'll be back after this.
Okay.
Sa lahat ng naririto, may this be a beautiful beginning of a long-lasting partnership.
may this be a beautiful beginning of a long-lasting partnership.
All right, so there you have it. We are almost towards the end of our forum this afternoon. So please stick around because someone special wants to say hi to us this afternoon. Our very last speaker represents the 2nd District of the City of Malabon and heads the Committee on Education, Cultural Affairs, and Tourism, and also on the Committee on Labor of Trade and Industry. As chairperson, he focuses on creating education to employment opportunities, especially for the students of the City of Malabon, CMU, and the City of Malabon Polytechnic Institute, or CMPI, through various partnerships with national and local government agencies, civil society organizations, and of course, our private entities. He is a graduate from Don Bosco College. He has been in public service since 2007 and started his career as the Sangguniang Kabataan Chairperson of Barangay Maysilo. Thereafter, being elected as SK Federation President, he also served as SK Federation NCR Secretary. He is a very strong supporter of youth empowerment, and he served as an advisor for the Youth for Malabon organization and representative for the local council for the protection of the children. Please welcome City Councilor and Chair, SP Committee on Trade, Industry, and Cooperatives, Honorable Enzo A. Areta, for our closing remarks.
Thank you, Shaila. Okay, to our beloved Mayor, Mayor Leland Areta, our Congresswoman J. Lacson Noel, Vice Mayor Ninong de la Cruz, the councilors, barangay captains, and to everyone, especially our businessmen and businesswomen. And again, a pleasant afternoon to everyone. Let me start my closing remarks by thanking everyone for joining the City of Malabon for our 5th Business Forum. Despite the difficult situation we face today due to the pandemic caused by COVID-19, we were able to have a fruitful discussion on how we can move forward as a community and as a driving force for economic development in our city. In this year's forum, we put the Bayanihang Malabonian at the core of our efforts. We aim to look back at our accomplishments through the years to shell out our plans in making Malabon a city that is conducive for both businesses and the people. In my experience of visiting families and businesses affected by the pandemic, I realized 3 things. First, this pandemic strengthens the resilience of the Filipinos and Malabonians. Despite the adversity and uncertainty, we remain optimistic that one day things will be good again. Many families and businesses were affected by the changes in our way of living. However, we pursue to look for opportunities to better ourselves and cope up with changing. Second, contingency planning should be present in all businesses. We have to establish processes and procedures that will protect employees, core business elements, critical processes, and information systems so that we minimize this or the destruction, safeguard our business, and ensure the safety and welfare of the management and the employees. Third, collaboration between the government and the business sector goes beyond the pursuit of growing our local economy. Through your generosity, the local government was able to reach more Malabonian families in our relief operations. Sa lahat po ng inyong aksyon at malasakit sa ating mga kababayan, maraming salamat po. And this afternoon, we heard Professor Richard Cruz that businesses need to have a plan, a roadmap, so you can pivot. As business owners, you need to show your vision and devise a plan to actualize it. Do not wait for things to be normal again. You have to adapt to the new way of doing business. For instance, venture to an online business. Also, Professor Andy Ferreira mentioned a strategy in making sure that the rank and file staff continue to receive salary in this very challenging time. Wherein some management level individuals choose not to receive their salaries. Kumbaga sila ay nagsasakripisyo para sa iba, and they also review the skills and capabilities of the staff, and they repurpose their roles. So they continue to give livelihood to people. I would also like to highlight what we have to deepen in the conversation and making our business inclusive for all, promoting opportunities to more vulnerable sectors, especially the women, young people, urban poor, persons with disabilities, and the elderly who are most affected by this pandemic. And as we leave our virtual forum for today, let us take all our learnings that we heard from our speakers, from our colleagues, to our organizations. As we embrace a new normal, we will encounter difficulties, but I am positive that we will be able to help each other and pursue an even booming economy in the future. This is our situation now, and we have to face it together. Basta't sama-sama, kakayanin natin. Basta't sama-sama, aasenso po tayong lahat. I would like to extend deepest gratitude to everyone for your active participation in today's activity. We can continue our discussions in email, in small meetings, and of course, in Zoom meetings. Please know that the local government of Malabon, with the leadership of our Mayor Lenin Oreta, and the City Council Committee on Cooperatives, Labor, Trade, and Industry, are doing its best to pursue responsive, transparent, and inclusive environment for the business sector. I would also like to express my appreciation to the organizing team for a successful conduct for our business forum. Congratulations to everyone in the team, and we are looking for another exciting forum next year. Hopefully by then, pwede na po tayong magkaroon ng gatherings. And I would like to close my remarks and officially announce the end of our activity today. I wish for the recovery of all affected businesses, the prosperity and safety of everyone in the continuous development of our local economy. Sa aking mga ka-asenso, maraming salamat po sa inyo lahat at mabuhay po tayong lahat.
Thank you so much, Honorable Oreta. So at this point, we would like to congratulate the City Government of Malabon City for successfully running the first ever virtual eBusiness Forum 2020. We'd like to thank Mayor Lenin Oreta, of course, and of course our Vice Mayor also joined us this afternoon, Vice Mayor Ninong de la Cruz. Thank you very much. And we have our Malabon City's first eBusiness Forum evaluation that, of course, we will be sending out to you. Our people from the city government will be sending a link to you. That way, you can ask your questions. Alam ko, madami pa kayong mga tanong kanina sa ating chat. So if you would like them answered, we will be sending you a link where you can go ahead and ask your questions. That way, we can certainly try and get back to you on most of them. And with that, I'm not sure if who else is here. Ayan, si Vice Mayor is here. Hello, Vice Mayor. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. Would you like to say something, Vice Mayor? Nakamute po kayo. Nakamute po si Vice Mayor.
Nakamute pala ako. Masaya po dahil sa Masaya po dahil sa taunang ginagawang business forum. At ang masasabi ko lang po, talagang ang ating syudad po, ang lokal na pamahalaan ng lungsod ng Malabon, kahit na mayroong dumanas tayo ng pandemic, ay hindi susuko. Tayo po ay ilalaban. Siyempre sa pangunguna ng ating mahal na mayor, gwapong-gwapong mayor, Mayor Lenin Oreta, sa tulong po ni Congresswoman, napakagandang Congresswoman J. Lacson-Noel, at sa 7 City Council, sa pangunguna na sa Committee on Trade and Industry, Council Enzo Oreta, tayo po ay laging nakasuporta at tayo po talaga
Ayan, maraming salamat, Vice Mayor. Maraming salamat, Everybody, Mayor Len, would you like to say something else?
Thank you. I would like to thank everyone, especially our Vice Mayor here. Nakate.
Vice Mayor here.
Oo nga, pare, change outfit. Just like to thank everyone spending the time with us, and hopefully everyone picked up something useful and can apply it for our everyday activities. Maraming salamat sa lahat. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you again, Mayor. Thank you, Councilor Enzo Oreta as well. Thank you so much, everybody. Maraming salamat. It was 3 hours of just having you guys here, and we really appreciate the time that you spent with us. Sana po hindi ito ang huli na magsasama muli tayo, no? So, and with that, we have our Malabon City first eBusiness Forum. We would like to thank our moderators from different department heads, the Malabon team, and of course, the Hakbang team for co-organizing this event. For your digital events, you may get in touch with Hakbang Pilipinas on Facebook. And with that, everybody, we would like to officially end this forum. This has been your host, Shyla Sanchez. Stay safe, everybody. And kaya natin. Goodbye.
Sa lahat ng naririto, may this be a beautiful beginning of a long-lasting partnership.